line. Check the radio, the crew is far from slow. The lights no longer yellow. Ready, steady, go. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 In love with the ride. Burning rubber smells real nice. Fuel it up once or twice. Come on, fast is the way to drive. Crowds all on their feet. Not one bothered by the heat. Imagine them in the driver's seat. Checkered flag would be sweet. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 Everybody get ready. On your feet. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Crank it up. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. Crank it up. Oh.
Racing action on Tim's Corner Motorsports is presented by Pache Motors, the largest Ram truck dealer in Atlantic Canada. Browse their inventory online at pachemotors.com. Tranquility. Help for anxiety is only a click away. Learn more by visiting tranquility.app. Finish Line Vinyl Design, the official decal supplier of Tim's Corner Motorsports. Like them on Facebook at facebook.com/finishline vinyl design. And by CB Warren's Auto Care.
CTWE wrestler The Mac.
And I'm Showtime Stevie Stamos.
Have you ever dreamed of owning your own race car and taking it out for a test drive? Well, thanks to our friends that Rent a Race Car, you can!
Visit www.rentaracecarne.com for all the details on how you can take one of these babies out to Stafford Motor Speedway. We'll see you at the races.
Touchdown!
Living with anxiety or depression can make everyday situations and interactions seem impossible, and getting the right help can be expensive and inconvenient. We're changing that with Tranquility. Our program follows the highly effective gold standard, cognitive behavioral therapy, which helps people change negative thoughts and unhelpful behaviors by teaching them skills to practice in real life. Using Tranquility is convenient. You can move at your own pace from your phone or computer, and you don't have to do it alone. Your one-on-one coach is there to help keep you motivated and supported all the way through. If you're ready to unlock the tools you need to approach the day with confidence, visit tranquility.app to sign up for a free trial.
It's race car fighting time! Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Vidane TV. A little early afternoon special here at Bristol Motor Speedway. Tim's Corner Motorsports Special Offense, the Jim Hallahan 333 Showtime Paul Strickland Jr. doing double duty like I do. A little bit of commentary, a little bit of button mashing here in the production trailer / commentary booth. Did not come alone, though. I'm up here with the Hall of Famer, Dylan Langile. Dylan, how we doing this afternoon?
I'm good. Little Sunday afternoon action. It's going to be a great time here at the Bristol Motor Speedway, but it is a very special event. We're not just here for a little Sunday drive. This is a memorial race for the late Jim Hallahan. For anybody that's tuning in, they may not be familiar with who that is. Let's just say a giant in the maritime and Canadian racing industry. A Maritime Motorsports Hall of Famer, Canadian Motorsports Hall of Famer. He passed away at the age of 91 on December 4th. And today we're going to honor him with a great race, 333 laps here at Bristol. And we've even got some of his family racing this afternoon, including his grandson, Tyler Hallahan. He's up in the virtual booth with us. What's going on, sir?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm good. This is going to be a very special race for you, I'm sure. It may have been a tough time during the holidays after you lost your grandfather, but he's got the best seat in the house tonight to watch this iRace.
You're 100% right. It's been a up and down month for sure, but we lost him about a month ago. I wanted to do something to put this race on for him. I just want to thank Tim Terry and everybody from Vidane TV for putting this on. I'm going to try to get this hugger car up in Victory Lane today for my papa, and I'm actually wearing a vest that my nanny gave me. That was his, so hopefully that gives me some good luck.
Yeah, you had some good luck in the B-Man last night, getting your way in this race. Can you tell some of the people how that race went?
Yeah, the B-main there, well, I kind of got in a bit of trouble on lap 53. I got into the back of somebody, and I got spun around, and so I pitted for tires, and I knew right then and there I was going to have to drive from the back, so I just stayed out for the rest of the race, and I ended up holding a third-place finish to secure my starting spot today.
It's great that you're in this big race. A bunch of great maritime racers, a few Americans sprinkled in here. Your grandfather did everything for racers in the Maritimes, for the big guys. But one thing he emphasized on too, Tyler, was the little guys. He liked helping out those smaller teams, even right up until basically the end. He was at the racetracks in September at Scotia Speedworld and Riverside.
Yeah, for sure. He always looked out for the little guys. If there was someone that had a bad run or anything like that, the next week he'd be down talking to them, and he always helped me out because I'm one of the lower budget teams myself, and he always made sure I had what I needed for safety or anything like that. And I just really hope I can put on a good show, and we can all put on a good show, and everyone will see there's about 3 tribute cars today. Myself, Mike Alexander, and Chris Ewing are all running tribute cars.
Yeah, and you were saying that this was your grandfather's favorite track, and he got to go here a couple of times too.
Yes, it was. He loved coming to Bristol. He went to Bristol a lot with my nanny. Went to Daytona. They pretty much went everywhere together. They were stuck to each other like glue.
And they were stuck to racetracks as well. So are you going to be racing up in 2021? And will we maybe see another tribute car to your late grandfather in your 4-cylinder?
Yes, I will be racing full-time 2021 at Scotia. And I am going to be doing a complete tribute car to my grandfather. I will announce that it's going to be the hugger paint scheme, and what I plan on doing is have it plastered with pictures of his career and all his stats, and just in a way to thank him for all he did for me and for all the racers around the Maritimes and also in Ontario.
I'll tell you, for anyone that's watching right now, after this race, go on YouTube and search Jim Hallahan or Junior Hanley. There is a great video with your grandfather showing off short track racing here in the Maritimes in the 90s. There's a little Daytona mixed in there. That is a video you need to watch if you appreciate racing, and you'll get to know a bit more about this guy, Jim Hallahan, who we're going to be honoring today. Tyler, you got to get back in your seat here because we're going racing shortly. Have a great run, and your grandfather, he's going to be enjoying this in the best seat in the house tonight.
Thank you very much. This one's going to be for Papa.
Absolutely. That's Tyler Hallahan, the grandson of the great Jim Hallahan. Man, I'm excited. It's been a little while, Paul, since I've been doing some iRacing. We had the holidays, gained a couple of pounds eating some food, worked it off a little bit. But 333 laps here at Bristol. Man, this is going to be a big race.
Absolutely. Going to be a huge race. Lots of drivers in here. We've seen a lot of these drivers throughout the whole pandemic, throughout the holidays, doing some Tim's Corner Motorsports events. Made mention there's a few Americans in here. Our very own Kyle Young is in here. He qualified in last night, won his heat race, able to qualify for the big show here, the Jim Hallahan 333. So very exciting here. Lots of talent, lots of big name in here, and really it's going to be a not so much a war of attrition, but it's going to be about a 2.5-hour race. So really looking forward to seeing the action here. Looks like warm-up is done and ready to go, and the qualifying grid was already set by Tim's Corner Motorsports. So we're going to jump right into some green flag racing, lining them up on the grid right now. Pole sitter, as you can see him starting to get out there on the front stretch. Craig MacDonald's going to take that pole. Mike Alexander, the number 75, he's going to start P2.
Starting on row number 2, it looks like Rational Richard Drake will be starting in third. And while we get all the rest of the cars all lined up here, there will be some prize money on the line as well, including $50, and an iRacing wrap and hero card from Pottle's Wraps. Chantelle Pottle is going to be in this race as well. I'm just trying to get my scoring ticker here, Paul. Can you go through the list a little bit and I'll hop in here?
Yeah, for sure. Rational Richard Drake, the 141, he's going to start P3. Matthew Barkhouse, P4. We made mention Kyle Young, he's going to come home, he's going to start here, P5 in that 5th position. The number 93 car, Jon Fitzpatrick in the 78, he's going to start in the 6th position. And going through the field here, Keith MacLellan, the Bud Light machine, he's going to start 7th. Mike Rhyno, 8th. Tanton Wooldridge, 9th. Craig Kenny is going to round out the top 10. 31 drivers in the field: Craig Kenny, Joey Stiers, Brandon Lewis, Ashton Tucker, Travis Roma, Campbell Delaney, Daniel Veitch, Jake Goodwin, Carter Greer, Caden Tufts, Derek Gates, the top 20. We just talked to Tyler Hallahan. He's starting to start 21st. Chris Roma, Chris McKenna, Craig Weagle, Matt Watson, Wade Craswell, Dave Cassidy, Bob Hutchings, Chantelle Pottle, Chris Ewing, and Terry Duguay. Going to be the 31-car field here for the 333 laps for the Jim Hallahan 333.
Yeah, stout field here, Showtime. In fact, want to give a shout-out to Chantelle Pottle and Bob Hutchings from The Rock in Newfoundland. They've actually ponied up a little bit of money, so some prize money. So $50 and an iRacing wrap and hero card from Pottle's Wraps for first place. Second's going to get the cool $30, and third, $20, and 3 other drivers in the field will get $15, a little Sunday fun money. So big thanks to them, and thank you all for tuning in today on Vidane TV or Tim's Corner Motorsports. It's cold outside, but not here at the virtual Bristol. 333 laps. Jim Hallahan would probably be questioning why we have 6 sets of tires here today, but it's basically unlimited sets of tires. The tire build, not the greatest for this track, so that means there's going to be a lot of tire changes. Pit window for the tires between 50 and 60 green flag laps. Fuel between 125 and 150, but we are going 333 laps. It's the Jim Hallahan 333 at the Bristol Motor Speedway, and Craig MacDonald fires off right out of the gate and gets in front of Magic Mike Alexander. Tyler mentioned that, we already got a caution early on. That could be maybe a glimpse of what's going to happen today. But Magic Mike has a paint scheme, which is one of Jim Hallahan's old paint schemes. That's going to be pretty cool for a few drivers. But right off the get-go, one driver looks like they may have stuffed it into the wall, and I think it may have been the 14 of Terry Duguay.
Yeah, we'll pull up the Raise Energy Drink instant replay, see what happened here on lap number 1. Going to be tough to follow the action here with all of the action going down here. Lots of race cars, small little half-mile bull ring, and it's really, really tough to kind of follow along. We're going to do our absolute best to make sure that you get all of the action right in front of your faces, and just backing up the old tapes here on the instant replay. We can see the 13 car of Dave Cassidy was involved just a little bit, but the action seemed to have happened up in front of them here. You can see they're coming into turn number 3, and the wreck is right there in front of them, the 29 to 38 involved. So a couple of big hits there, a couple of damaged race cars. I don't think we've got any quick repairs here this afternoon. Do we, Dylan?
I wasn't told so. I know it's a fixed setup race. Again, 6 sets of tires, the fuel window between 125 and 150. So these cars and these drivers will have to make pit stops, and I don't think there's any quick repairs for these drivers. It's not like the NASCAR E-Racing Invitational back when the pandemic started, so we'll see. Some of these drivers, the best of the best on track, and here in iRacing, just a shot to the shorts to the 29 car, and that caused a pile-up into turn number between 3 and 4, or 1 and 2, pardon me. It can be a little tough sometimes looking at Bristol, the angles. You're not sure where exactly you're looking. This track, it's historic. It's going to have dirt in a couple of months for NASCAR, but that should be interesting. But we're on the OG concrete Bristol, and early on, Craig MacDonald in front of Mike Alexander. So if you're wondering, well, why aren't there any heat races today? There was a week's worth of qualifying during the week this week. How many times can I say that? It's like I'm getting paid to say it. And then there was some heat racing last night. D main, C main, B main, drivers like Tyler Hallahan were able to punch their ticket to make it to this show. So a little different. And again, 333 laps. You may want to grab a cold one or maybe a Bloody Mary or something to cure that hangover, because we could be here for a little bit. But caution laps will count for this race this afternoon.
You're right, Dylan. This is actually the first show. We've been doing this almost a year now here at Vidane TV. This is actually the first show I've ever had to top off for a second cup of coffee before the show. So a little bit of energy boost here. We're going to mix it in with the Raise energy drink, dump some of that pre-workout powder in there. Pre-workout powder, easy enough for me to say. Already over-caffeinated. This is going to be a workout. Going to get all kinds of workouts in here. Pushing the buttons, running my mouth, all the good stuff.
Oh, yeah. So I want to thank you all again for checking in here on Facebook, YouTube, whatever platform you're watching it on. Going to have some fun and honoring the late Jim Hallahan. I got to meet Jim for the first time in 2018, got to really know him in 2019, had the chance to actually interview him with Riverside International Speedway. So if you'd like to hear a great conversation with Jim Hallahan, I encourage you to go to riversidespeedway.ca. There's a great podcast called Victory Laps that I got to host. And we got to chat with Jim Hallahan about his illustrious career, which started in Ontario way back when and carried over 60 years until 2020. So a very long, illustrious career for Jim Hallahan. And today, we're back on iRacing. We're double file again, but to fire off with Craig MacDonald and Mike Alexander. Craig gets the green flag, stomps on the gas, and he's driving away. The brothers Barkhouse and Alexander, 2 and 3. That's Matthew Barkhouse and Mike Alexander. You can see Rational Richard Drake on the bottom side. So it looks like the top part of the track is the faster point, but we may see some two-groove racing here at Bristol, and that's always fun to watch.
I think what we'll see here, Dylan, is we're going to definitely see some two-groove racing early on, but as these runs go on, definitely wears out the tires, especially on the bottom side of the racetrack. These guys are... right now, I mean, you can look at the top 6, top 7, top 10, really. An absolute powerhouse of names. Craig MacDonald, Mike Alexander taking off. Rational Richard Drake. There you see him slipping into the fifth position as Kyle Young gets around him. Jon Fitzpatrick to 78. He's up there. There you see Keith MacLellan going around Rational Richard Drake on the outside. And here comes Mike Rhyno in the 34. Ashton Tucker there in the 2 car. Just an absolute who's who of sim racing here at Bristol in these super late models.
It's pretty neat, and I've said many, many times, you different drivers from different classes or drivers who have maybe hung up the real steering wheel but got the virtual steering wheel. So that's the thing that brings a lot of these drivers and crew members together, which I really enjoy with iRacing. We can see the top side is the fastest part. You can see Rational Richard Drake. He is just falling back. He is sinking like the Titanic, and now he finally falls in line behind Ashton Tucker. Some fast racing here. The cool thing with these iRaces, you really learn about what cars are fast. As you can see, one car in the wall at the top of the track, not bringing out the caution. Single incidents shouldn't bring out the caution. Super late models go around Bristol faster than a Cup Series car, which is incredible.
Yeah, and they drive a little bit different, the Cup cars, the NASCAR Cup cars. They're a little bit easier to drive. They're a little bit smoother. These super late models, you can feel every single little bump with the suspension that are up underneath them. And they're much faster, so you're wearing the tires a lot quicker. You're really having to kind of pay attention to the car, pay attention to everybody that's around you as well to make sure that you don't make a mistake.
And you can see a couple of the drivers getting that diamond apex. They go right to the top of the track there in the middle of the turn. They dive right back down. And here's a little contention for the lead. Mike Alexander, one of the best iRacers in the Maritimes. He is now caught up to the 98 of Craig MacDonald. Craig had a great 2020. I've been already messed up twice saying this year, referencing 2020. We are forgetting about that year. But this guy had a year that he wants to remember on the real racetrack because he got a few Legends wins at Sydney Speedway, around Scotia Speed World. He had a solid 2020, and I'm sure he's looking to have a giant 2021. And right now, this is the first big event. We had some TCM Weekly Racing Series earlier this week, but this is the first big marquee event. And we've got other events like the TCM All-Star Showcase coming up in April, most likely. So we've got some fun iRacing before we get to the real racetrack here in 2021. You can see Matthew Barkhouse in third. I'm not seeing his new paint scheme on his car. It looks like the same Celtic Air Services paint scheme on that 15. You can see Jon Fitzpatrick. He's a great iRacer. He's in fourth right now, and he is getting a little bit of pressure as we get another caution on track, so the pressure will be lifted from Jon Fitzpatrick. Kyle Young in the 93 was about to catch up to him, and there's Campbell Delaney in the number 9, bringing up the caution on lap 20.
Yeah, Campbell pointed in the wrong direction there in the 109 car. We'll back this up so we can figure out exactly what got him out of shape there, and just take a look at the Rays Energy Instant replay. And you can see the 109 kind of down low just a little bit on the 122. Looks like he makes, nope, didn't make any contact there. Shooting down in the turn number 1, the 109. Everybody's up on that high side. He gets a little bit of help from the 88 car. Sends him around, tries to correct it, and just kind of overcorrects it a little bit. Looks like a little bit of contact there from the 33 of Hallahan, but everybody else seems to get around the 109 no problem. Doesn't look like there's any big damage there, Dylan, so it looks like he should be able to keep on rolling, grab a gear. There you see the pace truck coming around, but he's going to be able to jump right back out in front of him.
So pretty neat as we settle in here to the Jim Hallahan 333. Just looking through some comments on Facebook and YouTube. Mike Alexander rocking some tribute schemes, and we heard Tyler Hallahan. He's driving the Hugger, the 33. That was Jim Hallahan's legendary ride that he had when he first came to Nova Scotia to race. And we're going to talk with Chris Ewing a little later in this race. He is driving a Jim Hallahan tribute car where Jim used to race at Atlantic Speedway, which is just outside of Halifax here in Nova Scotia, a track that was probably one of the biggest ones at the time. Look at that. You can see the numbers up at the front of the car. Beautiful looking car. So we'll get a chance to chat with Chris a little later on in this race. And Chris is another guy who's been really enjoying doing iRacing. He's a crew member on the Maritime Parts Trucks Pro Stock Tour, but he gets behind the wheel in these iRaces. He loves it.
For sure, and it's one of those things, I actually had a discussion. We've got the Super Speedway Series on Saturday nights, the Sim 500 Vidane Racing Super Speedway Series. The champion, as last season, is going to get a free street stock rental from Rent a Race Car at Stafford Motor Speedway. And I had a couple of drivers ask me last night after the race, what's it like driving those race cars? How does it compare to iRacing? Well, they don't handle just right, and you really don't have the seat of the pants feel when you're in a real race car, but you're able to get all the braking points and the lines and get all that stuff down. So a lot of times with the iRacing, it's a really, really good mental tool, really good to kind of sharpen all the tools, the internal tools, the brain, the eyes, all that good stuff, and make sure all your senses are on point. That way, when you do step into the seat of a real race car, everything's all sharp, and you just got to go out there and dig.
And here in Canada, and I'm sure where you are in the Northeast, it snows quite frequently. So sometimes you just can't get out to the racetrack because it's covered in snow. So it's pretty nice to have iRacing to kind of sharpen the saw and get ready for the real racing season.
A little bit of tree humor, I dig it.
Yeah, brother, got to cut her down, cutting and strutting, as we are kind of strutting around the track a little slowly as we are going to double up here. Lap 24 of the Jim Hallahan 33 at the Bristol Motor Speedway tribute race to the late Jim Hallahan. Going to be a long one. I don't think there's going to be long green flag stretches. I'm hopefully wrong on that, but I find with these tracks where it's tight quarters and there's walls on the inside and the outside and they're somewhat close together, usually spells disaster if we're going to a turn and one guy gets turned around. We already saw it early on here, but we're going to try and refire here coming up to lap 25. And Craig MacDonald, MacDonald got a great restart. Green flag back out of Bristol.
Old MacDonald had a gas pedal, and he just smashed it. Great start there for Craig MacDonald, the number 98. Mike Alexander and Matthew Barkhouse fall in line. Jon Fitzpatrick in line there as well. First side-by-side battle. Kyle Young down low. Keith MacLellan up on the top side in that Bud Light machine. He gets by. He's going to tow in the number 2 of Ashton Tucker as well.
Should have got the mic on Kyle as well. I mean, I'm sure we can probably chat with him here and there while he's under caution, but right now he is on the bottom, and that's where he does not want to be, as he is already falling back. So we've noticed with a few drivers, Richard Drake and now Kyle Young, once you're on the bottom and you get some cars going on the top side, it's bye-bye for you. It's almost like Talladega or Daytona when you're out of the draft. You just completely fall back. You're just not getting that speed, so the rubber is really sticking to the top side of the track here. You can see the marbles, and now we're on board with Kyle Young. I don't know if he's just trying to explore, maybe try and get that bottom working, or he doesn't want to try and risk sliding up right now, because you don't want to make too big of an error, and I guess right here there's not a lot of real estate to try and make that move. As you can see, Roma and Drake now going around the 93 car.
early on in a run, we were talking to a lot of these drivers in practice, you can really utilize that bottom side, but after almost 10-15 laps, it really tears the tires up and it starts to wear on them. So there you see the 23 getting into the wall. Joey Stiers, no harm, no foul. He's able to gather it back up. May lose a little bit of real estate to the Roma machine there in the 83. You can see him, he's searching on that low line, trying to see if he can maybe get around the 23 car using that bottom side. But talking to these guys in practice, the bottom side's really only going to be good for 10-15 laps, maybe 20 laps, depending on how well you save your tires. But the place to be is going to be right up there by that outside wall. You want to get the black paint all over the side of the race car.
They should be able to make it on fuel after a stop near the halfway point, but tires, that's going to be the thing where they're going to have to go down pit road a few times because these tires will wear out about after 50 to 60 green flag laps. We've already had 2 cautions so far to slow things down. So right now, knock on wood, on lap 33, we are on our longest green flag stretch at the moment. So we'll see how the tires wear. And we got some sparks already flying. Roma kisses that wall, and you can see all the damage on his right side, crinkled in there like a tin can. That's not good. Going to try and keep your car contained as best as you can. Although at Bristol, you can, get a little stripe there, as we can see right now. Rhyno stripes the wall pretty good. And he stripes it again. Oh, another hard hit for Rhyno. And now Richard Drake had a slam on the brakes. Another driver, the 56 car, had to move out of the way real quick, or that could have been disaster city. Now Roma's on the bottom side of Rhyno.
Yeah, it gives you a good look at just how close to the wall these drivers are running, and a lot of drivers are more comfortable than others, and you can see just the sparks flying off of the side of the race car and off the back of them. So some of the drivers are getting real close to that wall. That's really going to be a good advantage because you get a little bit more grip up there, and you're able to kind of apex the corner a little bit later as well, get a better run off.
Yeah, and with the damages here, you don't want to kiss that wall too much because, yes, it is sheet metal, but then there's also internal parts behind that sheet metal, especially that wheel assembly. You really don't want to damage it. Mike is loose there going into turn number 1 and 2. Just trying to find any speed he can, and now he gets passed by the 141. Travis Roma will try to make it a 2-for-1 special as we see a slower car on the bottom. Little by little, we will see drivers drift out to either make those pit stops, or if they have too much damage, they need to get some repairs done, or maybe they get those incident cap points. 54 today. That means if you make contact with other drivers or bring out cautions, those points add up, and that could send you to the penalty box for the rest of the race.
You're right, and we actually got a little bit of insider information from Carter Greer, the number 38. It had some damage. He's got a blown motor in that car. He's got about a half hour to get the motor put back into that thing. So he's over watching Vidane TV on the YouTube page. So sucks that he got crashed out, but it's good to be able to see that he's going to catch up on the information and give us the inside look. And want to thank everybody out there that's watching on Facebook, on YouTube, and over on Twitch. We don't have the Vidane TV Twitch anymore, but we do have the Strictly 94 over there if you want to go over there and give us a follow on that. And we got a lot of action over on the Twitter as well, at Vidane TV. So let us know where you're watching from, who you're pulling for, and who you want to win this race. Maybe you have some Jim Hallahan memories that you can share with us as well. All about the fan interaction here as Craig MacDonald leads on lap 43.
Yeah, pretty cool to see drivers like Carter mention what's going on. So it sucks for them that they had the problems where they're going to have to sit on pit road and watch Vidane TV, maybe grab a sandwich or something, and hopefully they'll be able to get back on track. But right now, we're going to be coming up to lap 45 at 3:33, and it's still the Craig MacDonald and Mike Alexander show. 2 very good iRacers, as they will be coming up to some slower cars soon enough. 31 cars answering the call this afternoon at the Jim Hallahan 333. Not like a Cup Series race where there's 40 cars jam-packed on the track, so a little less. But Bristol, doesn't matter what's on track. It could be mini slots. I love watching YouTube videos of any series on this track. Not sure what the dirt is going to look like for the Cup and Xfinity Series. That's probably going to be, it's going to be something. But either way, Bristol always produces good racing. And now we've got some of the best iRacers in the Maritimes and the States as well here at the Jim Hallahan 33 as we're on board with Craig MacDonald. He is setting the pace as we count down the laps.
You can see getting closer and closer to those couple of lap truck cars there. They're battling for position, so it's going to be tough to see. You never really want to lose a lap, especially here at Bristol, because it's so hard to make that time up. But it's going to be even harder for these leaders to get by because those guys are driving back and forth for position as well. So really going to be an opportunity for Mike Alexander to maybe take a peek around the number 98 car once they get up to this lap traffic. It's really going to be something to see once we get there.
Mike Alexander has been consistently the fastest car on the track, just by 1,000th of a second, not by very much, but he is fast, and right now he's comfortable staying in the second position. There's Keith MacLellan in the 30 car, Jon Fitzpatrick in the 78 throwing some pressures. Now we have caution on lap 50.
Oh, a couple of cars upside down. There you can see that banking. Holy moly, the 111 sticks the landing, gets it 9 out of 10 on the landing for sure. But we'll back up the Rays Energy Drink instant replay, find out what went down there. Looks like a handful, well, more than a handful, a couple of handfuls of cars involved here. Uh-oh, Kyle Young up in there. Take a look at the instant replay here. We'll give it to you from the far chase view here. You can see Mike Rhyno scrapes the wall just a little bit, not too crazy there. Kyle Young up into the wall, comes down, tags the 38. That gets in with the 83. The 111, there you can see him up there. Just kind of a slow, lazy flip there for the 111. Rolls one time, two-time rolls there. So a handful of cars involved here, a little bit of damage, a lot of damage for some of these guys down in the bottom. But one thing I want to point out here, Dylan, look at all the marbles down on the apron and up by the wall. Those little black spots, those are balls of rubber that are coming off these tires. Really showing that these drivers are giving it all they've got here and really, really beating up the tires.
Oh, yeah, they're going for it. You have to early on because you need that track position. You can see with Craig MacDonald and Mike Alexander, they've got that clean air. But it's almost like salt and pepper at the you can just see it's a very salt and peppery at the top. And if you're a driver, you do not want to get up in there because that will throw your car sideways completely. We see it in real racing. We see it in iRacing. And we did see a few cars down pit road, I'm sure, to fix some problems, including Tyler Hallahan in the 33 car. And soon enough, we will see the leaders have to go on track to probably get those tires on. We are in that window for getting the tires changed. But again, that's considering with green flag laps, and this is our third caution. So they'll have a little bit more time on those rubbers. We'll see when they'll take them off. Fuel window again between 125 and 150. So we'll see how they can conserve that gas and see if they can really stretch it. Because if you do the math there, let's say you stretch it completely to 150. Well, you do 150 twice, that's 300. This lap is 333 laps. So we'll see if anyone's going to really try and stretch that to try and keep the position on track.
Everything you said in that entire sentence, Dylan, is I don't race anymore, and I push the buttons up here in the production truck.
It's too much math.
Too much math. Lots of things for these drivers to think about. Sometimes they'll have a crew chief or a spotter, so to speak, in a voice chat with them to kind of help them out with any of the decisions on pit road and all that good stuff. But these drivers, 333 laps here at Bristol Motor Speedway is a long race, and we're 54 laps in, going to be crossing the stripe with 55. Not even going to do the math and tell you how many laps to go. At least 12. But a lot for these drivers. A lot for these drivers to think about, and we're gonna see kind of separate the men from the boys almost at this point. See who's really going to be able to get towards the front of the pack at the end of this race.
I can tell you there's less than 300.
Yes, less than 300 laps to go, and as it gets slower, or as we get closer, that ticker on the top left of your screen should switch over and start counting down the laps, and then we'll be able to tell you exactly how many laps are back.
Well, I can tell you we're going to go exactly back to green flag racing in mere seconds as the lights are off the pace truck. Craig MacDonald, Mike Alexander, the front row in this restart. Matthew Barkhouse, Mac Daddy, Keith MacLellan in fourth. And looks like Ashton Tucker from New Brunswick has made his way into the top five. He's had some great runs in the real race car, and now he's in the virtual one. Green flag is out again at Bristol for the Jim Hallahan 333. And same story, different lap. Right now it's the 98, Craig MacDonald, in front of the 75.
Another powerhouse restart for the number 98, Craig MacDonald. Mike Alexander and Matthew Barkhouse in tow as well. Keith MacLellan, that number 30 Bud Light car, he's moved himself up to fourth, and you see him there. Dylan just talking about him. Ashton Tucker in the fifth position. Right behind him, he changed the color number on, or the number color, easy enough for me to say on that 56. Number color, as we're under caution, but there you see 56 of Tanton Wooldridge. He has moved up to the sixth position. We slow him back down. We'll see if we can figure out looks like Kyle's involved again. Man, we may very well have Kyle up here in the booth.
We may have Chris Ewing as well, because Chris has already stuffed that car. Now Mike Rhyno moves out of the way. Oh, there's Roma. So a few cars that we've already had problems with are now facing the wrong part of the track. And, oh boy, we may have had a flip with Chris Ewing. We got the replay here now.
Yeah, we're going to take a look first at the number 34, Mike Rhyno. It happens in front of him, and he tries to get woed up and just forces it the wrong direction here. And we'll take a look. Chris Ewing is involved here as well. You can see he tries to go around on the high side. Oh, a flip one time, 2 times. So some style points there. We'll see if we can take a look one more time from the Kyle Young machine. We'll switch over to his point of view and get that rewound and take a look. I just want to see where this all started from. We'll take a look at Kyle Young here. Pull the replay up. You can see Kyle slows down, already flipping there at one point. And okay, Kyle gets tagged by the 35 there, so not that big of a hit, so that's good news for him. We'll take a look at Chris Ewing here in the 1 car. He had that little bit of a flip there as well. It looks like that may very well have started with the 35 car. Tough to say, but a couple of damaged race cars here. The 29 involved, the 122 involved again. There you see Goodwin, the 124, he's involved. But back up front, still MacDonald, Barkhouse, MacLellan. MacLellan, new third-place driver. Looks like somebody came down pit road.
That would have been Mike Alexander. So Mike Alexander has brought it down to pit road to get some tires and some fuel, maybe. You can throw in as much fuel as you want, but we did talk to Tim Terry a little earlier, and if anyone knows about weight in the car, you need fuel, but if you have too much fuel, that will throw off the weight in your car, and that can completely mess up things like getting out of the turn the way you want to. You may not be able to get into the turn like you like to as well. So you have to kind of find that balance of I need a big tank of fuel, but how much do I put in?
Right, the more fuel that you put in the back of the race car, the more it's going to kind of weight it down a little bit, and it absolutely affects the handling. We were hearing from Tim that these fuel cells are 22 gallons, but it seems like the sweet spot is right around 18 gallons. Really kind of where the car feels the best. And you'll see as some of the drivers will try and push the issue just a little bit, get the extra 4 gallons of fuel in that race car, and just kind of baby it a little bit, kind of give it almost like you've got some nutshells underneath the throttle there.
Just gotta kind of feather everything. You can't go in too crazy. You gotta feather it.
Give it just a little bit of a touch. There
you
can
all
see
in the
him.
hips.
Well, some of it's in the hips.
All in the hips. It's all in the hips.
There's a good shot looking in on the corners there, way up by the high side where a lot of these drivers are running by the wall. All those marbles, the little rubber balls off of the tires, those are going to build up, and it's going to get thicker and thicker up there, down in the apron as well. And it's one of those things, it's literally just like driving on marbles as we double them up here. MacDonald on the outside, inside rather, Matthew Barkhouse on the outside. As these drivers are riding up on that high side, you're really going to see that these drivers are going to start to kind of lose control of the race cars a little bit, especially as these tires start to wear out.
Is the wind blowing a gale here in Bristol?
We'll take a look at the old weather here. We'll see if she's blowing a gale. She's blowing, I don't think it would be a gale, 2 miles an hour heading from the
that's not
north.
blowing a gale.
That's blowing a little bit. That's blowing a breeze.
Just hardly by. Got to do that for our lost comrade, Mike James, not here today. The green flag will be coming back out in just a minute as we're going to go around one more time here. So it should be lap 66 when we refire.
66 down, 333 total. Some math.
There's a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot of racing, a lot of action here on Vidane TV for the Jim Hallahan 333 here at Bristol Motor Speedway. Thank you, everybody, again, for tuning in on Facebook, on YouTube, and on Twitch. Another restart. That was kind of an early restart there for the 98. Race officials are going to be looking at that one, I can assure you. Heading down in the one, about 7 or 8 car lengths over the 15 of Matthew Barkhouse. Side-by-side battle there for third. The 2 of Ashton Tucker upside. Holding on, trying to get around the number 30 of Keith MacLellan. He's going to bring the 78 car with him. Jon Fitzpatrick moving himself into the top 5.
going to try and stay there before he has to make a pit stop. So we saw Mike Alexander go down to pit road and get some tires and maybe throw a little gasoline in that number 75 car. He's a bit further back, and that could be I don't want to say it's a problem, but we've been seeing a majority of the wrecks happen further in the field. Mike Alexander right now is in the 10th position, as we can see him on the screen. So he's already worked his way through the minefield, so maybe not too much of a worry there for Mike Alexander. Well, just a smidge of a worry there with a 76 car almost coming up. That's Wade Craswell. As Alexander is able to get around him, we're on board now with Mikey. I can see Rational Richard right there. We get the gyroscope camera in there. You can see the banking, legendary banking here at the Bristol Motor Speedway. And Mike's got fresh tires. You can just see he is eating the competition right now.
Dylan, you can almost feel how much faster that car is as they close in on the back bumper of Dave Cassidy there in the number 13. Just really able to put that car wherever he wants. There you can see him on, he's only got a few laps now on those tires. He's utilizing that bottom side, trying to close in as much ground as he can. There you see he's inside at the door of the number 13. He's going to probably pass him here in 1 and 2, and that's going to put him right in the back bumper of the 024 of Derek Gates. So 60-lap tires for all these drivers except for Mike Alexander. Mike Alexander really picking him up, putting him down right now.
I noticed especially in 2020 with NASCAR, especially with the NASCAR Xfinity Series, you really got to see the power of fresh tires. We had drivers racing for Mike Harmon Racing who drive cars that really are always at the back of the track. When they had fresh tires at Homestead, they were in the top 5 at one point. So you can just see right there, even here on iRacing, fresh tires make all the difference as Mike Alexander is charging like a rhino through the field. Now he's underneath the number 2 car, Ashton Tucker, and he is looking to get back to second, and I'm sure he's not going to be satisfied with just second. He wants to get up to first.
Getting on down to the door of the number 78, Jon Fitzpatrick. There you see he gives him a little bit of a tap ski, lets him know he's there. All the way down on the bottom by the apron, the number 75 down low with fresher tires, trying to get around Jon Fitzpatrick, move into that podium position. And you can tell as he passes these cars, he doesn't even take a moment to collect his thoughts. He gets right after it and tries to get into the next position. There you can see he's going to try and clear the 78. The 78's just a little bit better on the outside side.
Yeah, Mike's starting to slow up just a little bit, probably just to try and not wreck and make contact. Right now, he's side by side with his brother, Matthew Barkhouse, and Matthew will let Mike in the second spot. And now there's just one more position to go, and that's first. And here comes Mike Alexander underneath Craig MacDonald. Will Craig drive defensively, or will he let him go? He may have no choice to let him go because of the tires. Craig has not made a pit stop yet. Mike Alexander, one of the only leaders to go down pit road during that last caution. You can give that lap to the 98. The next one, I'm not so sure. Mike on the bottom charging now in front of the 98 car. Can he clear him? He's going to try. Oh, they hit each other, but they save it. Mike tried washing up in front of the 98. Now Mike Alexander grabs the lead, but Paul, that could have been really bad on the backstretch.
Could have been really bad, and it could have taken out a lot of fast cars, but Mike Alexander moves himself up into the lead after getting tires a few laps ago. This is really going to kind of tell us how the race is going to play out here, Dylan, because these guys, everybody else is going to have to come down for fuel and tires here at some point within the next 20 or 30 laps or so. And if this thing stays green, it's really going to play into the favor of Mike Alexander. He's going to be able to put a lot of distance on these lead lap cars, put a lot of cars a lap down. But if it keeps going green and we have a super long green flag run, that's when the advantage goes away from the 75 and it kind of comes back into the hands of MacDonald and Barkhouse.
That's the cool thing with this kind of racing, a long green flag stretch, lots of laps, 333 at Bristol. There's strategy to what you do to make pit stops. It's not just the basic, okay, it's 75 laps, no pit stops, have at it, boys, go have some fun. You really got to think, when do I make those pit stops? You kind of have to maybe anticipate, okay, will there be a long green flag run, or are we going to be seeing cars piling up every 7 laps? Very tough to think out and plan out, and sometimes it's off the cuff. We don't know if Mike Alexander planned to have that pit stop around lap 60. But right now, he is getting away from the rest of the field, and I imagine he'll be putting some cars a few laps down here shortly.
Just got around the RBR machine, the number 29 of Daniel Veitch, and it looks like he's clean sailing in front of him right now. A lot of cars right in front of him. You can see the nice wide shot here. About a half a lap before he picks up in front of the other cars. You can see the distance that he's been able to put on Craig MacDonald. 1.2 seconds at stripe the last time they came across in lap 85. So really putting on a show here, Mike Alexander, in a league of his own with those fresh tires.
He is, and this could be a point where we were just watching the cars kind of parade around the track, as he has got about a half straightaway, called 3/4 straightaway lead over the rest of the field. Right now the battle is for second, and it's still Craig MacDonald trying to fend off the number 15 of Matthew Barkhouse. Jon Fitzpatrick in the 4th position right now, just watching. And Ashton Tucker's in 5th, a little further on back from that battle. So right now it's a 3-way dance for second spot on lap 88 of the Jim Hallahan 33. It's not just bragging rights, and you get to win a race which honors a great man in the racing industry. A little bit of money thrown in the pot as well. We have to thank our good buddy Mr. Hutchings and Chantelle Pottle, Bob Hutchings and Chantelle Pottle, for throwing in a little bit of cash for these drivers. $50 prize and a free iRacing paint scheme, and also a hero card from Pottle's Design. So you get a little extra for finishing in the 1st position. About $30 for second, $20 for third, and there is Bob Hutchings in the 77. A little further back in the field right there, but it's great to have him out here. A couple of Newfoundland drivers. So you can see Chantelle Pottle in the 5 car. She's had some great runs at Oxford, and right now she is dicing it with a thick flurry of cars, including Kyle Young. There's Kyle there in the 93 car.
Yeah, Kyle running P16, still in the lead lap at this point. There's 3 drivers behind him that are still on the lead lap. You can see he's got a little bit of damage involved in a couple of wrecks here. So it's a little bit of work to do there for Kyle Young, but ATV's very own, as he's quite the super late model driver himself, and he won the heat race yesterday to get himself locked into this event. But back up front still Mike Alexander, and the battle for second is a 3-way dance at this point, triple threat if you will. Craig MacDonald still trying to hold off Matthew Barkhouse. Jon Fitzpatrick there as well. He wants a piece of the action.
You mentioned, Paul, a little earlier, with a long green flag stretch, these drivers here have not made a pit stop for their tires. They're probably slipping and sliding everywhere, and blown tires and flat tires are a thing in iRacing. There may have to be some green flag pit stops, and that would not play in the favor of any driver except for Mike Alexander, who made that stop there on the last caution as they're just parading around the track. We, by chance, could see a few cars go a lap down if they have to make some green flag stops.
Absolutely. We're just taking a looking at the lap times here at Timing and Scoring, and if you wanted to follow along at home, you can type into the web browser, vidane.net/web timing, all one word, all lowercase. We're looking at the lap times right now. Mike Alexander, last time by, ran a 15.717 on those newer tires. Craig MacDonald, last time by, was a 10th quicker. He ran a 15.6. So those lap times pretty much evened out with those tires, but the damage is done for the number 75. He's been able to really get some position. He's a 1.2 seconds out in front of Craig MacDonald right now, so really trying to hold on to that position and see if he can hold on to the lead.
And you basically have unlimited tires for this race, too. So Mike is able to drive a little harder and get some distance from the field. There's no worry of, well, I only have an extra set, and I really got to make these ones last a long time. It's a Hoosier tire compound for this race. Tim was mentioning it's not the greatest compound. It really gets chewed up by the track. So they will have to make a few stops to change tires. Right now it is the Mike Alexander show. Lap 100 of the 333 in the book, so nearly a third of the way there. We're slowly getting there, and we appreciate you spending some time with us on a Sunday afternoon. I don't know why my girlfriend let me do this. It's our anniversary today. I said it's for Jim Hallahan, and she gave me a pass today. But, we got a caution here on lap 102.
109 involved, the 024 involved there as well. Happy anniversary as well. You didn't mention that off the air, so that's some good news. Well, third of the way down here, 33.33% chance of finishing this race on time here, so we'll get the Steiner math.
Lie.
And the numbers don't lie. We looked it up, so you don't have to. But you can see the 109 was up top and the 024 down low, and just fighting for the same piece of real estate. Gets into the quarter panel, and they both kind of nose into the wall. A couple of lazy spins there, Dylan, but it doesn't look like the damage is all that bad. There you can see, ooh, tough call there for the 14. We're going to wrap this replay up real quick because we want to take a look at pit road. Got a feeling everybody's going to be coming.
Yeah, this is going to be a blessing for drivers like Craig MacDonald and Matthew Barkhouse to finally get those tires and fuel up. Fuel up the rocket ship, as the Ultimate Warrior would say. We're not really in the fuel window, but hey, might as well fill up right now while you got an opportunity.
Absolutely. You can see Mike Alexander stayed out, so he thinks his tire still got a little bit of tire left on those. So that's going to be interesting to see because we're looking, again, at the lap times. The best drivers or the best laps that some of these drivers are putting on are right around 14.6, 14.7 seconds. And as we were coming up to this caution, everybody was in the mid-15s. So I don't know. I don't know if I agree with that call, Mike Alexander, but he's a whole lot faster than I am. So we'll see how it plays out here, Dylan.
Different strokes for different folks, as they say, and he is going to be doing a little strategy as, well, geez, the whole majority of the field, they are going under pit road to try and get some fresh tires and some fuel. Number of cars are a few laps down. We've had a number of wrecks so far here at the Jim Hallahan 333, and this will shake up the field. Looks like Mike Rhyno could be lining up there in second, maybe Terry Duguay. Terry Duguay from Prince Edward Island. He was a late addition to the field, a pro stock driver, so great to see Terry racing here. And he's going to be starting on the front row with Mike Alexander along with Mike Rhyno. So it looks like drivers like Craig MacDonald and also the number 15 car, Matthew Barkhouse, they may be starting a little further back in the field, maybe 7th, maybe around 7th, 10th position.
Well, you know what it is here, Dylan? It seems like Mike Alexander was listening. He says, you know what? Showtime says I should take tires. So he came down a lap later. He took some tires, and he brought Mike Rhyno with him. So the front up front going to be Craig MacDonald. Going to lead him off the charge here. And Ashton Tucker second. Tanton Wooldridge. Easy enough for me to say. Got it. Nailed it. First try. He's going to start third. Keith MacLellan fourth. And Caden Tufts in fifth. Haven't talked about him all afternoon so far. A good solid run for the number 88 machine of Caden Tufts. Good looking race car there too.
Yeah, it's all these different paint schemes look really cool. A lot of good work put into them. Of course, we got some of the tribute paint schemes this afternoon for the late Jim Hallahan, all mixed together. And we're going to have these drivers all mixed together, double file. There you can see the Hugger, the 33 car. Love that. We got to see a real-life version of that car at Scotia's Speed World for the Jim Hallahan 250, which happened back in September. Jared Butcher behind the wheel, the 33 car, which was pretty special. Jim got to see that car, one of his final races in 2020. It was great to see him at the track, and dominating win by Jared's brother Cole, and he even got to go to Riverside for the Tormont Cat 150, where we saw a first-time winner from Dartmouth, and that was Nicholas Noggle. So some great racing around out 2020 here in Nova Scotia. Big year for us going into 2021. No new cases of COVID-19 just announced by our provincial government as we are back green flag racing, so good vibes all around. And right now it is the 98 back in front, but here comes Ashton Tucker. Wow, what a turn he had right on the bumper of the 98.
Got a field full of drivers feeling like Superman with those 4 fresh Goodyears or Hoosiers tires. The 4 Mr. Feelgoods on the bottom of these race cars. Going to be able to use the top side and the bottom side as well. And speaking of Feelgood, Carter Greer, the number 38, after a blown motor, they swapped that thing out. He's 100 laps down, 50 laps to the next position there, but he's back on track. And he's getting ready to get after it. He's going to try up and make some positions there in the number 38. So good to see him stick around. He's been out there hanging out with the fans, watching the broadcast. He says, oh, hey, I need to go. I need to get back in the race car. The crew's all set with the motor.
Yeah, he had a hot dog, chatting with the T-shirt guy at the tent, just hanging out and realized, oh, I got to race again. It's kind of like Talladega Nights when the driver of the Laughing Clown malt liquor car is eating a sandwich. And now we'll have another opportunity to grab a sandwich because we've got another caution on track.
Looks like Chris Ewing pointing in the wrong direction there in the one car. He's waiting for this field to get by to try and get around safely. He doesn't want to cause any damage or any harm to any other vehicles here. Looks like he may have a hole coming up, but while he tries to get it figured out, we're going to take a look and figure out why he's pointed in the wrong direction here with the Raise Energy Drink Instant Replay. And speaking of t-shirt tents, Dylan, be sure to check out Vidane.net/shop. We got a lot of cool stuff in there. Vidane TV, hooded sweatshirts. We got some hats, some face masks, some tank tops. shops, all that good stuff, some gym gear in there, and we actually just added a whole bunch of Angry Tree Guy merchandise as well, so be sure to check that stuff out. But looking at the replay, you can see the one car, a little bit of damage on it. There's a lot of crunkled up sheet metal all the way around that race car. Tags the wall, tags the 35, gets it half flip, and another tag there from the 29, and finally comes down to a stop and rests that car, kind of gathers his thoughts, and this is where we saw him trying to kind of find a line in that traffic to get her pointed in the right direction, grab a gear, and get on to digging. But tough break for the one car. Lots of damage on that race car.
Yeah, Chris was flipping around there like a cruiserweight. He was all over the place there, so we'll have to get Chris up in the booth here relatively shortly. I'm sure he's probably not thrilled with the performance he's having right now, but a Jim Hallahan tribute scheme on that number 1. Although it certainly had better days, though. As you can see, he's got a lot of damage on that number 1 car.
Just looking through the field here, Dylan, lots of damaged race cars. Up front, everybody seems to be relatively clean. There you can see some damage on the Tufts car on the left front, the number 88 back there in the back of the screen. But everybody else up front looks relatively smooth. A lot of, there you can see on the front of the 15, the nose there, a lot of those rubber balls are starting to stick on the front of the hood there. That's just from the stuff coming off of the tires. The 13 looks relatively good. That's a cool looking paint scheme right there. A little bit of white lightning auto center there on the number 13. Mike Alexander dropped back to 8th after coming down pit road late there. So, again, he's got about a lap fresher tires than everybody else now. Definitely showed that one of the strategies coming down pit road to get tires really going to add to the lap times and really kind of played out in his favor. But then the caution came out and, well, he kind of averaged out with everybody else.
Yeah, it's just the way it goes sometimes. The way she goes, guys. It's just the way it is. So we'll see what happens as we go through the Jim Hallahan 333. Just waiting to double up the field again here. Dylan Angelo from Riverside International Speedway in Nova Scotia. Paul Showtime Strickland and the cast of characters in the race control booth. Brandon Campbell, Brittany Hoyt. Looks like Nick Pontier, Tim Terry. Just a whole bunch up there, all in the booth, doing some great work. It's great to have him here again, helping out.
For sure, and we want to thank all the fans out there as well. A lot of interaction on Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, all the chats. Let us know where you're watching from and who you're rooting for, who you want to see come home with the victory here after 333 laps in honor of Jim Hallahan here at Bristol Motor Speedway. And if you've got yourself a viewing party going on, be sure to snap off a picture, give us a thumbs up, give us a little wave, and let us know that you're watching on Vidane TV by joining the conversation using hashtag Vidane TV.
Forgot to mention a little earlier when we had Tyler Hallahan. Paul, first time I got to announce him, he was racing at my little dirt track here in Nova Scotia, and he somehow flipped a car going slow into turn 3.
I can honestly say I've never flipped a race car yet, but my racing career is still young. I've got 3 starts in a NASCAR sanctioned race. I got a top 10 once. That's actually on one of my T-shirts. I got a NASCAR top 10, so pretty excited about that, and maybe we'll try and flip some stuff this year.
Hey, you know what? We're all getting behind the wheel occasionally. I got to run an enduro race at Speedway Mirror Machine in 2020. Who knows what 2021 will bring? I don't want to land on my lip for sure. 119 of 333, around 166, 167 will be the halfway point of the Jim Hallahan 333. No halfway breaks. We're going to try and finish this as quick and painless as possible. And right now it is Craig MacDonald in front of Ashton Tucker.
Caution back out on the speedway here. We'll see if we can figure out exactly who's going the wrong way. Just trying to sift through the field. We can see some puffs of smoke there. Not entirely sure where the wreck happened, but we'll pull up the old Raise Energy Drink instant replay and figure out what went down. There's a little bit of calamity, as we like to call it. We'll pull up the Vidane TV Raise Energy Drink instant replay. Focus in the 14. You can see he kind of slaps the wall just a little bit. 109 involved, 35 involved. There you see the 29 gets by. Oh, huge hit for Pottles, the Pottles wrap machine there. You know, I'm gonna chalk that up on her parking the SpongeBob Christmas paint scheme, Dylan, because that was one of my favorite paint schemes, and she switched over. Still a good-looking race car. I do like that paint scheme on the number 5, but I like the SpongeBob car a little bit more.
It's always great to have these cautions. A great time to grab a drink of water or a cup of coffee.
Or a nice Corona Light. So maybe we'll do that here on Vidane TV. We'll take a quick commercial break. We'll give when we come back, we'll get in the second half here, the 333 in honor of Jim Hallahan.
What's one of the biggest challenges of managing a fleet of trucks, tractor trailers, and material handling equipment? Hassling with maintenance, repair, and vehicle breakdown. Trans Service's dedicated contract maintenance service, DCM, takes that hassle away. We maintain your fleet, no matter what the configuration, to the highest standards, while giving you the greatest cost control. We offer preventative maintenance executed to maximum utilization, equipment life, and necessary repairs, all tracked by a state-of-the-art paperless computerized system. Assistance with equipment engineering, configuration, including new engine technology, and onboard computers for your fleet, as well as dedicated fleet contract maintenance. Dedicated on-site service facilities staffed with management and certified maintenance technicians, inventories of parts, tires, and fluids, and all necessary shop equipment, diagnostic tools, and technology. Supporting services such as equipment inspections and assistance with meeting regulatory requirements, DOT, OSHA, EPA. Contact us today to learn about our turnkey contract maintenance solutions. It's all about the experience, yours and ours.
Racing action on Tim's Corner Motorsports is presented by Pache Motors, the largest Ram truck dealer in Atlantic Canada. Browse their inventory online at pachemotors.com. Tranquility. Help for anxiety is only a click away. Learn more by visiting tranquility.app. Finish Line Vinyl Design, the official decal supplier of Tim's Corner Motorsports. Like them on Facebook at facebook.com/finish.
Lights are off on the pace car, getting ready to go green. One Mogan. 98 car down low. Ashton Tucker up in the set number 2 on the outside. Easy enough for me to say. 98, another thunderous restart. Shoots on down to turn number 1. Advantage, 98.
Big time advantage for Craig MacDonald. He starts to pull away from the rest of the field. We can also see Keith MacLellan in third. Tanton Wooldridge, young bando driver from Prince Edward Island. He's on the bottom, and that's where you don't want to be. You're going to fly all the way back there if you don't get in line.
Working these older tires already. The 56 down low, trying to find a way to move up on the outside. Looks like he's going to have a little bit of a hole there behind Mike Alexander. You see, moves on up and gets himself a spot in the 7th position right there in front of Caden Tufts in the 88. We can see a new top 10 driver, Matt Watson. First time we've seen him up in the top 10 all day. Good looking purple and gray paint scheme there for the number 27. Moves himself into the 10th position.
Yeah, you know what? You can hang back a little, for the first part of the race, kind of inspect what you have with your car and then go full tilt near the halfway point. And we are reaching that. It'll be 1 lap 66. Halfway through the Jim Hallahan 333. We're on lap 130. It's been the Craig MacDonald and the Mike Alexander show so far. Ashton Tucker still in second. Keith MacLellan in third. Looking through scoring and timing, Matthew Barkhouse in fourth. Jake Goodwin fifth. Mike Alexander sixth. Tanton Wooldridge in seventh. Caden Tufts eighth. Dave Cassidy in ninth. Rounding up the top 10 is Matt Watson. Mike Rhyno in 11th. Kyle Young in 12th. Joey Stiers 13th. Rational Richard Drake 14th. Paige, his wife, also in the control booth as well. Craig Weagle, not a bad run in the 111. He 15th. Jon Fitzpatrick, what happened to him? Further back in the 16th position, Wade Craswell, Tyler Hallahan, Bob Hutchings, and Terry Duguay rounding out your top 20. 31 drivers answering the call this afternoon.
Not entirely sure what happened to the 78 of Jon Fitzpatrick. Was running up towards the front. Not seeing any damage or anything on the 78, but he's now running in the 18th position behind the number 33 of Tyler Hallahan. So maybe a little bit of a strategy call, kind of backing up away from the calamity, but Going to be running P18 currently for Jon Fitzpatrick, but up front, still Craig MacDonald putting on a clinic. There you can see Ashton Tucker way up there, high, wide, and handsome, trying to gain a little bit of position on the 98 car. And in the back, Keith MacLellan moved into the third position. He's running up on that high side as well. So these drivers really starting to utilize up by the wall, trying to get as much real estate as they can, trying to run different lines, see who's faster where, who's slower where, trying to see what they need to do to gain the advantage.
And it looks like Ashton may be a little faster than Craig MacDonald, just looking at scoring and timing once again. They're pretty equal. Last lap, Ashton Tucker was the fastest car on the track, near a 15-second flat. He is cranking out some fast lap times as he's all over the bumper of Craig MacDonald. You can see here on the in-car camera, they will be coming up to some slower cars. I imagine they will be sticking to the bottom to get out of the way of the leaders on lap 138. And Craig is kind of tilting it down a bit further down the track, and the exit of the turns, you can kind of see drives up top, really cranks it down low to try and get closer to the bottom. We are seeing some rubber sticking to the road a little further down as we go here.
And you can see that that last time by the 98 right up against the wall, a little bit different line than he's been running. Saw that the number 2 car was really able to close into positions, but once the 98 got up there, it looks like he was able to put a couple of car lengths on the 2 car. So different strategies, caution comes out, that's going to change everything.
It certainly will. We'll bring out the replay and see who brought out the caution. I think I just saw, there's the 111 to Craig Weagle. I did see the 33 of Tyler Hallahan slow on the bottom. I don't know if he was trying to avoid any wrecks. But we're going to bring the replay out here and see what happened to Craig Weagle.
Craig Weagle on his lid again. Raise Energy Drink instant replay. Here you can see 111 up towards the top, scrapes the wall just a little bit, comes on down across the nose there of the number 83, the Roma machine, and just gets tagged by the 122 and then the 76. There's one flip. There's 2 flips. And then we're going to flip back halfway to the other side. Almost land on the side. That's a 9.5 for style points for sure. But that's going to end the night for Craig Weagle. It looks like he's going to call the tow truck and get that thing pulled down on a pit road. So tough break there. Looking at timing and scoring, looks like we've got a busy pit road here, Dylan.
Yeah, a great time to get some fresh tires and fuel up those cars. We are in the fuel window for green flag run. We've had a lot of cautions in the early part of this. Jim Hallahan, 333. But again, it's a great time to get some fuel and take advantage, because you do not want to do a green flag stop at Bristol, because the pit lanes, they're separated, as we know in NASCAR. There is a pit road on the front and the back stretch. And I think you do have to go away the entire way around. I think it's the way it's set up with NASCAR. During the under caution part, I think during green flag runs, you're able to go whatever pit road you're on. That's one thing, playing any racing game, is always which pit lane am I in? I'm not sure that's going to be a big thing for these drivers if they go down the wrong one. I don't have enough experience on iRacing to prove that. Have you ever done that, Showtime?
Oh, absolutely. Here, Martinsville Speedway, a lot of short tracks that have the pit lanes on both sides of the racetrack. Really tough to tell where you're at. Sometimes under caution, you don't really have to drive all the way around on pit road. It really depends on how the track is set up. But want to take a quick moment here, talk to one of our own here, Kyle Young, the number 93 car. Just took 4 tires on that car. Still on the lead lap. Lots of crinkled up sheet metal on that car all the way around. Kyle, how's the race going, man?
It's been eventful, to say the least. First and foremost, if he's tuning in, I want to publicly apologize to Travis Roma. Made a mistake racing with him, hit the wall, and kind of ended his day pretty early. So just kind of been chilling back here, trying to conserve the sets of tires and just trying to hang on to the car. She gets a little evil on corner exit once you get the rubber worn away. So just came down to get some fresh rubber. Still got 3 sets left in the pits, and hopefully we can have something to say here towards the end of this thing.
A lot of damaged race cars. You can see a lot of drivers getting the end of longest line there. We did make mention on the broadcast, these tires go away pretty quickly. It seems like 15 to 20 laps in and the tires are shot. Is that accurate?
Yeah, I would say so. The top side is a place to be for speed, and it helps conserve the tires a little bit, but once you start wearing them away and you're running that top side on the corner exit, it really starts to get free and can get a little evil. So we have more sets than what I expected, but still trying to be intelligent and make them last as long as you can.
Absolutely. Well, they're doubled up, so you got to get back to work. We're going to do the very same. Good luck, Kyle.
Have fun, guys.
Kyle Young, Vidane TV's own commentary guru, number 93, currently running in the 18th position. Still in the lead lap, so that's good news for Kyle, but he's got a long road to hoe to get up towards the front. But new leader, Ashton Tucker, he's going to get the whole shot this time, get a huge jump on Matthew Barkhouse, who now is right in the tire tracks of Ashton Tucker. And the 124, Jake Goodwin, where the heck did he come from? Running in P3.
Yeah, what a dive there, trying to get underneath the 75 car of Mike Alexander on lap 146, coming up to the halfway point. It'll be Jim Hallahan, 33, as we say, closing the gates on this race here at Bristol Speedway. Right now, it is still the Ashton Tucker show with Matthew Barkhouse in second. Craig MacDonald took the opportunity to get some pit time in the area where you go and pit. Why am I talking like a robot? I don't know, but either way, we're on lap 148 as we parade around the Bristol Motor Speedway.
Got to get you one of those Raise energy drinks. Shoot on over to repsports.com. Use promo code Vidane TV. Get yourself 15% off. So want to thank everybody again. We know we've been doing that a lot, but we really love having you viewers out there in the chat as we work lap 150 here over on the YouTube. The YouTube chat is on fire. Shout out to Carson, Samantha, Carter, who's back in the race here, and everybody else that's watching over on Facebook as well. Bobby's over there, Chris is over there, Nathan's over there. So thank you guys so much. I know Twitter's been on fire as well, using Vidane TV as the call sign there. So love having the fan interaction. Give us a shout out. Let us know where you're watching from and who you're rooting for. Who do you think's going to win this race?
Yeah, it's always great to see where people are watching. I know there's going to be a strong contingency of Newfoundland and Labrador viewers, Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, wherever you can watch on YouTube or on Facebook. So I want to thank you again. We say it a lot, but hey, you know what? You're taking to me your Sunday afternoon to watch some iRacing. We've got a little tussle now with the caution coming out. I was just going to mention Craig MacDonald was on the charge there, about to get to first place.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, Dylan. I was going to give you 3 guesses on who up front had fresher tires, but caution came out, so the 98 is going to get an opportunity to kind of cool those tires back off, and gives us an opportunity to kind of take a peek and see if we can find where the caution just came out from. Just looking through here on the old instant replay box. There's the calamity. We got some flipping some luchador racing here going on here in turns number 3 and 4 as it appears. We'll take a look again at the Raise Energy Drink instant replay, and we're going to focus in on the 109 car here. He did get involved. It doesn't look like it's where it started. There you can see Chantelle Pottle all the way up by the wall. The 35 car pointed in the wrong direction, and there you see Daniel Veitch gets kind of skatey there. Big time flip from the 109. Almost lands it on his side. But tough break with the 35 there, the 109. And there you can see the rest of the field. 109 does a good job holding on to the car down low. Doesn't want to get back up in that racing groove. So a little bit of damage. He's probably going to come down pit road, maybe bang on some of that virtual sheet metal with the hammers and see what he can do in the second half of this race.
Shout out again to Chantelle Pottle for sponsoring this race along with Bob Hutchings. Pottle's Wraps, part of the sponsor package today, and that will be part of the giant winning package for the driver who wins the Jim Hallahan 333. $50 plus an iRacing wrap and hero card from Pottle's Wraps. Second place will get a cool $30. Third, $20. Case of beer. You're happy on a Sunday afternoon. Lap 155 as we are slow, and you can see Ashton Tucker goes down to pit road, so they'll get some fresh tires on there. It's going to be really dicey at the end, Paul. I'm really curious who's going to try and really push those tires to the limit.
For sure, it's going to be a wonder where the caution flags fly and who's going to try and use the advantage. Because advantage 1, you stay out on old tires, you've got the track position, and you hope for a caution-littered second half of this race. But if we have a long green flag run and you have the opportunity to come down and get fresher tires than everybody else, we've seen the 98 of Craig MacDonald drive through the field. We saw the 75 do it. Mike Alexander did it earlier on with fresh tires as well. Drove right through the field like everybody else was standing still, because after we talked to Kyle there, we confirmed about 15-20 laps and the tires are shot. So gonna end up seeing where these caution flags fly. I don't think we'll see anybody come down for tires for a green flag run, but seen crazier things here on Vidane TV.
Yeah, racing can do that. You can get some real crazy things to happen. Lap 156, the Jim Hallahan 333. That's a long race here. I think it's the longest race I've had the pleasure to announce here on iRacing. In fact, I even think in real racing too. 250 would probably be the max there. So we're at the Bristol Motor Speedway virtually. Number of drivers already off the track for different problems, including Craig Kenny, Travis Roma. Nick Pache didn't make a start right now. He's going to be in the scorer's booth, we'll call it, with Tim Terry and Paige Drake and Brandon Campbell and all of them. There's a lot of people that put in a lot of work for these events. It's not just simple fire it up and go. We have officials, we have announcers, we have people that are spotters, a lot of people behind the scenes to make this happen. Thanks to them all. And let's get fired up again here. Craig MacDonald gets the green flag, jump starts that start, and he pulls away.
Fire in the hole. There goes the number 98, but not going to be easy peasy lemon squeezy here for him. He's got the 15 of Matthew Barkhouse right on his back bumper. The 75 was there, but he's under attack from Keith MacLellan. Gets shot up onto the outside lane. You can see there's the fresher tires, the number 33, really down there on the bottom of the track, down by the apron. Going to be able to hold on to that for about 10-15 laps, and then the tires are going to wear off. So he's going to try and utilize that, get as much ground gained as he can on the leaders here, the 98 and the 15.
Not a bad way to go for the 30 car, Keith MacLellan. We are on board, as we can see a few cars on the bottom wrecked. Again, it's sometimes the scorer's discretion for throwing the caution. We want to try and hurry this up and finish it. So unless there's a big pileup on the straightaway, they will not throw the caution out. And we are still green flag racing here with Matthew Barkhouse now behind the 30 car. Keith MacLellan is in second. He's got one more spot to go to grab the lead.
Really able to put that late model where he wants to. You can see kind of running middle low line there. Trying to get a little bit of position there on the 98. Good corner there. Gets right up to the back bumper of the number 98. And you can really tell he's working everything he can out of those tires. He's trying to get everything he can to get up towards the lead, because once you get that clean air, you get the restart zone, all that good stuff, it really gives you an advantage, especially in the second half of this race.
Here comes Ashton Tucker in that red car. He also got some fresh tires. He is underneath Mike Alexander. Again, we are seeing the bottom lane really work for about 10-15 laps for these fresh set of tires. And now Tucker underneath Matthew Barkhouse to try and grab third spot as we are chipping away near the halfway point of the Jim Hallahan 33-33.
Side by side no longer. The two almost clears the 15, but looks like he needed one more corner to do so. Now he's got about a car length lead over Matthew Barkhouse. Sets his sights in on the back bumper of Keith MacLellan there in the Bud Light 30. There you can see the distance, about 7-8 car lengths there. Mike Alexander, he's still running back behind his brother in the 15 and the 75. He's running fifth. Side-by-side battle right now for 6th and 23. Joey Stiers down low. Matt Watson up top. Rational Richard Drake up there in the mix as well. He wants a piece of the action. He wants a piece of that top 5.
And we can see cars like Joey Stiers who have been in wrecks. I mean, goodness sake, look at the front end of that 23 car. Tires are going to make the difference in this race. Yes, you're going to have some banged up sheet metal. Your cars are going to look like a modified by the end of the day. But tires, that will be the key here at Bristol Motor Speedway. 6 sets for these drivers here today. Fuel window, around this time they may want to think, or maybe they already got gas and they think they can stretch it right till the end. A lot of strategy. It's not just turning left. Tell that to your friends who say, well, there's turning left the entire time. There's a lot of mental math and a lot of mental games you have to play to think about what you're going to do and how you're going to do it. And here's a chance for maybe someone to go down pit road, another caution on track.
Yeah, we were going to take a look there at the wheel input for the number 75 just to show that these drivers are all over the place. And it looks like the 33, Tyler Hallahan, may be off the pace down there on the apron. See if we can back up the old Raise Energy Drink instant replay. Find out, definitely pointed in the wrong direction. So see if we can pull it up here and take a little look-see, find out what's going on, why we're in the predicament that we are. The Hugger 33 car, you can see down low on the 88, the 024 comes up top. Little bit of contact there between the 024 and the 33. Sends them on up into the racing groove. So that's definitely a good call by race officials to call the caution there. It looks like everybody's able to get by scot-free. A little bit of a tag there as soon as he pointed it in the wrong direction, but grabs a gear, drives on down the banking, and he's going to come down pit road, maybe get some tires and some sheet metal worked on that car. But still up front, Craig MacDonald. Been about 20 laps here, Dylan. We'll see if anybody's going to come down pit road and maybe get some more tires.
Well, just looking through the Facebook comments on the Tim's Corner Motorsports feed, our good buddy Ricky Arbo, he wrote, tires are everything here. If you don't change and leaders do, you're in trouble. We've already seen that a number of times. You can see some of the cars that got fresh tires. They are just cruising through the field on the bottom. So, again, now we have a driver saying that tires are everything today.
It's always good to get backed up when you're right.
That's right, yeah.
But great to see all the fan interaction. We want to thank you guys again for tuning in here to Vidane TV on a Sunday afternoon. Again, for the Jim Hallahan at 3:33 at Bristol. I believe this is definitely the longest race we've ever had here on Vidane TV. I know it's the longest race I've ever called, and pretty excited for it. We've been doing this since about mid-March 2020 when the whole COVID-19 pandemic started. Right here with Tim's Corner Motorsports. Dylan, you've been around since the beginning. So we've become pretty good friends, and I'm happy for that. And, Wes and I, Rowdy Wesley Hogue and Kyle Young and myself, we've kind of been talking. We do want to do something a little bit special coming up here in March. We do want to do a 1-year anniversary show. Not sure what we want to do yet, though. We do want to invite everybody that's ever been involved with Vidane TV, whether your league did broadcasts or if we did a one-off special event or anything like that. We definitely want to have some participation from everybody, fans included, but we're not sure what we want to do yet. So if you have any suggestions on how we should celebrate our 1-year anniversary coming up here in a couple of months, shoot us a slide in our DMs, let us know in our direct messages, our private messages there, or even in the broadcast chat. Make it a discussion, join the conversation, hashtag Vidane TV.
We definitely need beer and a Dairy Queen ice cream cake.
Yes, that absolutely is happening.
Both. And both. It has to be both.
Yes, and if anybody works at a Dairy Queen and they're able to sponsor us an ice cream cake, that would be ideal.
Yeah, no, it's pretty sweet. It's been fun doing these iRaces, and that thing, you get to talk with new people, and, let's just say without Vidane, I don't know we would ever meet each other, Paul, so it's been pretty sweet to do this, and, hopefully things get better as we go along, and who knows, maybe we'll come up to Canada, or a bunch of us go to the States, who knows, but we're still in the virtual land of Bristol, talking some iRacing, brother, and it's going to be the Ashton Tucker and Craig MacDonald front row. Restart time. Here we go. MacDonald gets the green flag. Stiers in that bright green car will be passed by Richard Drake. So some drivers did take advantage of that caution to maybe get some tires on.
That 98 really taking advantage of the restarts here. You can almost see him. It's like he looks right a couple of times to see if the race officials are looking, and then he mashes the gas a little bit on the early side. But no harm, no foul, no penalty or anything like that here in the iRacing world. Anytime the iRacing pace car or pace truck, as it were, dips on down pit road, that's pretty much go time at that point. You don't need to wait for the actual physical green flag as long as the pace car isn't on track. So a little bit different than the real NASCAR rules and some of the late model rules, but you can see he's getting challenged now by the number 2 car of Ashton Tucker, trying to get up to the back bumper. There you see Rational Richard Drake moving up into the podium spot. He's in third, just watching these guys battle. He's trying to see if they'll get side by side, maybe get into each other a little bit, give him the opportunity to close up some ground.
Wouldn't that be something? These two drivers got into each other. If there's a wreck at the front of the field, a bunch of people are going to be taken out by it, and that could cause it for, a bad day for a lot of drivers, as we've got many of the front runners sprinkled throughout the field as they did go down pit road. But right now, it's still Craig MacDonald. He has led the good majority of this race. We are over the halfway point. I just saw the pit road cone become a casualty with looks like the number 111 of Weagle going down pit road. A lot of marbles at the top of the track, as you can see. Drivers taking advantage of the bottom with the fresh tires. And, we got a little contact there. It looked like maybe Barkhouse was trying to go underneath the 13-car Cassidy, but they do keep it straight. Matthew was one of the drivers who took advantage of that caution to get some fresh tires. You can see Mac Daddy, Keith MacLellan, chipping his way through the field. 88, Caden Tufts, a little contact as well. And we saw with the onboard, maybe we should bring another onboard here, one of these drivers. They're all over the place with their hands. They're certainly not out for a little Sunday cruise.
Absolutely. Lots of business is picking up here on board with the 88 Caden Tufts and really cranking that wheel to the left-hand side, back to the right side, because he's got a little bit of looseness going on as he tries to get underneath Mike Alexander for that 6th position. Just these drivers are all over this place, and it seems like business is getting ready to pick up. The drivers know they're about 2/3 in the bag. lap 185 of 333. Oh, we got a car. Looks like the 27 is around, smashes into the wall. 15 is involved.
Oh.
Caution flag is going to come out. There's some 3-wide racing coming up to the yellow. Holy moly, Dylan. This is getting exciting.
Yeah, that 15 car is now looking bowling shoe ugly after it slammed into the 27 of Matthew Barkhouse. We got the replay here. We're going to fire it up and see what exactly happened. We knew that the 15 had some of the fresher tires. He's on the bottom. Oh, Matt Watson clipped the wall and cut down and hit the 15. Nowhere to go for Mr. Barkhouse. That's just a tough case of racing at Bristol.
Yeah, a couple of big hits for the 27 and the 15. Those guys are going to come down pit road. There you can see the 15 of Barkhouse. The right side of that car is completely caved in. So they're going to bang on that car with some virtual hammers and try and get some of that stuff straightened out. But it's still Craig MacDonald up front. Ashton Tucker second. Rational Richard Drake, easy enough for me to say, running P3. Keith MacLellan fourth. Joey Stiers fifth. Caden Tufts. Mike Alexander. Mike Rhyno, Dave Cassidy, and Tanton Wooldridge currently in the top 10. There you see the 33 Hallahan machine going around for the lucky dog. I believe that's going to put him back on the lead lap. And it does. So that gives us, looks like 20 drivers here still in the lead lap. 29 drivers still being scored in the race of the original 31 starters after 187 laps.
And we know that there is no quick fix. Carter Greer was on pit road for half an hour getting a new motor, so it's not just a simple press the button and everything's okay. You get damage, you got to fix it in real time, and that will be the case with the 15 car of Matthew Barkhouse. A hard hit after Matt Watson clipped the wall and came in on the 15 car. I've had it happen a ton of times playing NASCAR Heat 5. You're kind of around someone, they clip the wall, and you have nowhere to go.
Yeah, tough break, especially you'll see a lot of these drivers. They'll kind of scrape the wall just a little bit, and they'll gather it back up. But then coming out of the corners, they'll scrape the wall again. And at that point, you get mad at the car, so you kind of jerk the wheel to the left. And unfortunately, in most cases, there's another driver down there, and that's what's causing a lot of these wrecks. Unfortunately, just taking a quick look at the stats here: 11 cautions for 53 laps. We've had 4 lead changes, and the quickest lap here is a 14.512. That's going to go to Caden Tufts in the number 88 car, currently running 6th. So, lots of action here, 189 laps down. At least 12 laps to go here in the Jim Hallahan 333 here at Bristol Motor Speedway.
And I'm wondering, when did he crank out that fast lap time? Because it looked like he was one fast son of a gun before that caution.
For sure, and up front, still MacDonald and Tucker, Drake, MacLellan, Stiers, a lot of fast drivers up through there. Kyle Young moves himself into the top 10. We're starting to find out he's quick in just about anything he drives. Bob Hutchings currently 11th, Terry Duguay 12th, Jon Fitzpatrick moved his way up to 13th, and Jake Goodwin 14th, Tanton Wooldridge back in 15th. So getting exciting. The lights are off on the iRacing pace truck. We'll line them up 2x2 all the way throughout this field, getting ready for another restart.
We'll see if we can cross into lap 200 under green flag laps. Ashton Tucker, top of the track, Littleton, New Brunswick. 98 car Craig MacDonald from Nova Scotia. 141 of Richard Drake. Keith MacLellan, the top 4. And another fantastic start by MacDonald. He gets in front of Ashton Tucker. We're back green flag racing at Bristol.
Monstrous restart for the 98. There you see Keith MacLellan, another good start for him. Down low with those fresher tires. He's going to try and clear the number 2 car. He knows he doesn't have much time before those tires start to wear out. Looks like he's going to clear him here. Set his sights on the back bumper of the number 98.
He's fast, and you can also see Mike Rhyno right behind the number 88 car, Keith MacLellan. He's got fresh tires on that number 30 as well. We could be seeing a new leader very soon, and there's the move there from Mac Daddy, who's underneath the number 98 car of Craig MacDonald. Two Macs, I should say. MacLellan in the 30 charging up, and here comes Caden Tufts underneath the number 2 car, Ashton Tucker, Mike Rhyno, making it a 3-way dance for third. Oh, you don't want to go 3 wide going into turn 3. That usually sets you up to bring out a caution. But it didn't happen there. It happened a bit further back in the field.
Looks like it happened on the backstretch there, trying to take a peek here, see who is going the wrong way. But we did see Mike Rhyno really start to charge up through the field here. He came down pit road, got some tires for himself, and he was definitely showing that he was very, very quick. Just taking a look through the tapes here, seeing if we can find who is in the wrong direction. Looks like the 35 car and the 14 may be involved as well. We'll pull this up, see if we can get exactly what went down. The 024 of Derek Gates looks like he may have very well been involved as well. And it looks like another little bit of a bumpski there from one of the Roma machines. Nothing too crazy, but we'll take a look. Look at the top of your screen here. The red car down low. You can see the 34 gets 35. Check that, gets a little bit loose. Comes down in front across of the number 5 of Pottle. The 024 gets involved. The 38 involved as well. The 109 gets a little piece of it, and everybody else seems like they kind of get woed up before they hit anybody. So that's good news there. Tough break for some of the drivers towards the middle and the back of the pack.
And things are getting really exciting at the front of the field with your top 5, MacDonald, MacLellan, Caden Tufts, Rhyno, and Ashton Tucker. We are seeing those fresh tires again, proving they are everything here at Bristol Motor Speedway, as when we restart, it will most likely be around lap 200, making it a 133-lap dash to the finish. There we go. Now we know how many laps are left.
That's right. Finally getting to the point where we know some of the math, and we can get down into the double digits left to go, and that's good news there. But really exciting.
I was called out for that in the summer, doing one of the races in New Brunswick. I guess I was only talking about how many laps were left to go on the 10s. So it'd be, there's 40. Okay, there's 30. Okay, there's 20.
Absolutely, and it's just everybody's got their different styles and everything else that goes on, and with these longer races here, you kind of lose track of the numbers because, man, the action is pretty intense here. 333 laps at Bristol here for the Jim Hallahan 333 put on by Tim's Corner Motorsports. Shout out to Pottle's Wraps for sponsoring the event, and everybody else involved for putting this deal on. You can see the pit road cone up on the wall. I wonder how that happened, but we'll have to get somebody out there. Maybe have somebody out there. Oh, looks like somebody grabbed it.
Just getting ready to set the field up for a 133-ish lap dash to the finish. Craig MacDonald and Mike Alexander have been really the only leaders so far. Another front runner, Matthew Barkhouse, he is donezo basically after getting tangled up there, getting a little tangly with the 27 car of Matt Watson. That's going to set them up to most likely not be able to run in the top 10, which is a shame again. They were a front runner, and now they're further back after getting a lot of damage. But these cars up here, not too much damage, a little crinkle here and there, a little wrinkle here and there.
And there's that keyword, Tangly. Head over to Vidane.net/shop. Use promo code Tangly. Get yourself 10% off.
Think during, and I'm going to be very careful saying when the next caution happens, we should get our buddy Chris Ewing here in the booth here to chat about his paint scheme and his relation with Jim Hallahan and how the race went for him. Not so good. He may be not eager to talk about that, but the green flag is back out in lap 200 of the Jim Hallahan 333.
Loaded the ship with rocket fuel, blasted off in a parts unknown. Craig MacDonald, a number 98 machine, gets a fantastic jump again, but Keith MacLellan, Mac Daddy, trying to reel him back in. You can see there he doesn't have any pressure behind him as the 88 of Caden Tufts down low. Ashton Tucker, the number 2, up top. There you can see Mike Rhyno behind them trying to hold off with Jon Fitzpatrick. Jon Fitzpatrick moving back up into the top 10, so able to gather back up whatever issue he was having earlier on. And you can see Richard Drake there in the 141, currently running 7th. Jake Goodwin 8th, Dave Cassidy 9th, and Joey Stiers in the 10th spot.
Everyone trying to find their place here and trying to get up to the front with fresh tires. And we were mentioning a little earlier, with a guy like Jon Fitzpatrick, he was near the front, then he was at the back, and we were wondering, well, what happened to him? Well, he's back, baby. He's back in black in that 78 car, and he's going to try and wedge his way into the top 5. He's side by side with Caden Tufts. In front of him, it is the 34 car of Mike Rhyno. In front of them is Ashton Tucker. That's for 3rd. So mosh pit 3rd on back. Top 2 have broken away. Craig MacDonald and Keith MacLellan. Here's the pass now from Mike Rhyno underneath the number 2 car. In the middle is the 78 of Jon Fitzpatrick. Where do you make your move? You may have to hesitate and wait and see, okay, do these guys take each other out? Because if I get too close, will I be taken out?
Absolutely right. These guys still door to door, bumper to bumper. You can see a little bit of an advantage there for Mike Rhyno. Jon Fitzpatrick sees a little bit of a hole. He gets on down past the 2-car like he was standing still on the low side, making it work, and he's going to set his sights on Mike Rhyno there on the 34 as they head on down to turn number 1. Going to try and use that low side just a little bit, and you can still see Caden Tufts there in the 88 machine. He's taking a peek low in the number 2. But back up front, Daddy Mac, Keith Mac there in the Bud Light number 30. Right on the back bumper almost of the number 98. You can see just how close Craig MacDonald is getting to that outside wall. Last Great Coliseum, rubbing off some of that black paint on that white race car. Crazy, crazy battle up front towards the lead, and a hornet's nest behind them for 4th on back.
If I was McLellan, I would be worrying about Mike Rhyno and Fitzpatrick catching up, because they are catching up, and they're catching up really quick. A driver like Mike Alexander, he's still a little further back there. You can see now he's getting tangly with the 124 and the 88. And hold on there, here comes Matthew Barkhouse after getting taken out by the 27. He must have had not too much damage in the internal parts of his car. He is back and he is charging. You can see the tire starting to really wear off on the number 2 car, Ashton Tucker. He is drifting back on this little green flag run.
Still side by side for that top 5 position. Ashton Tucker up high. Mike Alexander gets low. He clears him. That's going to set the 2 car back to the 6th position into the crosshairs, if you will, of the 15 and the 124. 124, Jake Goodwin. The 15, Matthew Barkhouse trying to work his way up. And as we talk about that, there you can see Mike Alexander taking no prisoners, moving up to the 4th position, getting around the number 78 of Jon Fitzpatrick. Now going to start working on the number 34 of Mike Rhyno.
I think Mike is realizing, okay, you know what? We're coming down to about 120 left to go. There's no time to mess around. Who knows how long green flag stretches could last? Could there be a lot of cautions? Less cars on the track as people are out of the race or having different problems. And Mike Alexander has thrown that fishing reel, and he has got a hook. He's got a bite. He's got 2 cars in front and a minefield of slower cars coming up. Oh, I think I just saw the 15, and the 2 make contact on the front stretch, and the 15 car gets around Ashton Tucker. So a little bit of a nudge there from the 15 car, Matthew Barkhouse, taken out earlier, but by God, you couldn't hold him down.
There's no time like go time, and it's go time for the number 15 and then the 75, Mike Alexander as well. These drivers know we're coming up in the last third of this race, 33 and a third % of this race left to go, and they want to be. Numbers don't lie. And we did the math, so you didn't have to. There you can see the 75. He's going around Mac Daddy, the number 30 machine. The 75 is on rails at this point, trying to close in the sights. You can see he's going to get around the 30 car. The 30 is going to fight back just a little bit on the high side. No match the new tires there, and there's a lap car, the 122 machine, up on the high side of Brodie Lewis. So going to use that driver as a pick, and there you can see 75 all the way down on the apron, battling up to the door there of Craig MacDonald. Holy moly, it is go time.
Yeah, if I'm Craig MacDonald, I'm not happy with Brodie Lewis. He was in the fast lane there. I know it's tough. You got to try and figure out where can I pull off there. But if I'm Craig MacDonald, I'm slipping a $5 bill as a tip there to the 122. Mike Alexander has caught up to your leader, and now there will be a new leader. It's Magic Mike, as he's going to try and use the bottom side. MacDonald, he is not giving up. He knows that bottom will wear out those tires, but here's the pass, and now the 75 clears the 98.
Clears him. There was almost a little bit of crossover action there for the number 98. Craig MacDonald dipped on down low, but he knows his tires are no match for that bottom side. And you can see out the front of Mike Alexander, clean sailing for about a half a lap before we start coming up on more lap traffic. Just about 100 laps to go, 111 laps if my math is correct. 222, 111, 333. Yeah, 111 laps to go here in the Jim Hallahan 333.
You're right, we're 2/3 of the way through, and right now it is the Mike Alexander show. He has stolen the lead from Craig MacDonald. Jon Fitzpatrick is in third at quite a distance. Now keep in mind there, Paul, they're going to have to stop and get tires before this race is over. So we're certainly not done seeing the action on pit road, which will shake things up here. And I'm being very cautious, saying this is a little bit of a green flag stretch that we haven't really seen in this race. We certainly had a caution-littered middle part of the Jim Hallahan 333. Right now, Mike Alexander got a good lead over the 98 car, and brother, did he ever. As soon as he got around the 98, he got away after little lap traffic played in favor for the 75 car.
Absolutely. There you can see Jon Fitzpatrick moves himself into the third position. Started sixth, fast lap 14.710. Last lap a little bit slower, 15.9595. Daddy Mac drops back to fourth, and look at this Hornet's Nest back here. This is the battle for about 4th through 10th.
Yeah, we're seeing some great racing all around the Bristol Motor Speedway. And now you can see Mike Rhyno trying to land in front of Dave Cassidy. Oh, hello, Caden Tufts. Loose there in the turn going into the backstretch. Had to really hang on to it. And again, we are seeing the bottom side. It does not work. Once you've got some laps on those tires, they'll just drift back right away. Tufts now will land back in the middle of the track and to try and get in front of Mike Rhyno. You can see just a train of cars down the backstretch as we are coming up to the last 100 laps of the Jim Hallahan 333. Oh, Mike Rhyno really loose there coming out of the turn. Again, this ain't no easy Sunday drive. They're on the edge of wrecking any time during this race.
And it really goes against everything you feel like you know about racing, because all these drivers, they know that deep down the high side is the way to be. That's where the fastest laps are. That's where you're going to be able to make up your most ground. But as everybody's up towards the wall, you see that bottom side wide open. You want to turn that wheel a little bit hard to the left to try and get on that low side, but it ends up being a little bit slower, and we're seeing that happen in this Hornet's Nest back here. Of course, the 15 there of Matthew Barkhouse, he's going to make me a liar. He's going to try and get around the number 30 of Daddy Mac there, and the number 30 Bud Light machine. Caden Tufts up there trying to make it a three-way dance as well, and that's going to back the 15 up just a little bit. He may very well get freight trained down on that bottom side.
He very well may. Oh, look out. Oh, hit brakes. They all save it. Unbelievable. The 15, I think, tried wedging his way up top. Made a little contact with Mike Rhyno, but these drivers, they are professionals. They know what they're doing. They hammer on the brakes. No one stuffs it into each other. We are still green flag racing, and now there is 100 laps left to go with Mike Alexander leading the Jim Hallahan 333 at Bristol.
That right there, Dylan, was the product of these drivers racing with each other almost weekly throughout the Tim's Corner Motorsports weekly series there at Oxford and the special events that Tim's been able to put on over the past, really the past year. A lot of these drivers race with each other every single week here in the iRacing Simulator, so they know the reactions of how everybody's going to work. And like you said, up front, Mike Alexander, you're looking out the, now you're looking out the back. Looking out the front windshield there of the leader, the 75 machine, heavy lap traffic. That's going to play a factor here in this third of the race.
Third, I like that.
The third trimester, I guess, as it were. There you can see Craig.
I was going to say, there's Craig MacDonald there is making it interesting. He is now catching up to the 75, so did Mike wear out his stuff trying to get the lead there?
Yeah, just trying to take a look. Craig MacDonald came down pit road 95 laps ago, and Mike Alexander was 41 laps ago. There you can see car down low, out of shape, gets everything gathered back up. But Craig MacDonald's doing his best. He's got almost 100 laps on those tires, so a lot of these drivers really hoping for a caution for this last 100 lap of the race, and that's really gonna show. If this thing goes green, it's definitely going to play in the favor of Mike Alexander. Whoa, maybe not. A little bit of a wiggle there.
Not at all. He bobbled completely in that turn, and now we have another new lead, the same one we had earlier. These two guys are the only ones, but hello, Jon Fitzpatrick. He is now closing in on this battle for first. Mike Alexander, I think those tires, they are screaming. They have no tread left on them. They are hurting big time as he had a giant wiggle. And now we have a new leader again. It is Craig MacDonald, but here comes Fitzpatrick. He's got fresher tires compared to the number 98 and the 75. So don't turn this off if you're watching on Vidane TV or Tim's Corner Motorsports. Things are just getting started here.
Jon Fitzpatrick in the same boat as Mike Alexander, 55 laps on those tires. Ashton Tucker not quite on the screen just yet. He's a little bit further back, about 3 seconds behind the number 78, so it's a three-way dance here. Triple threat, if you will, for the lead position. Craig MacDonald has it. Mike Alexander, Jon Fitzpatrick, they want it.
They want it. They've got a slower car. Can one of them use it as a pick? 111 to Craig Weagle. Not that time. it's crazy to see how these tires are really making the difference. A guy like Jon Fitzpatrick has been floating around the back for a good chunk of this race, but now he is starting to make it interesting up in front as he's going to try and look on the bottom side. Three-way dance, a triple threat as we are on board with the 75 car, or pardon me, the 78 car. You can see the 75 car right in front of them. They're driving closer to the wall. They tuck it down real low coming out of the turns. And here's going to be a problem there for Jon Fitzpatrick. He's liking the low side right now, but where is this slower car going to go? Are they going to stay at the top, or will they cut down to the bottom?
Really tough to tell, and he's hoping that he'll just move over onto the apron, that slower car, to see if he can gain a position. He gets to position number 2, gets around Mike Alexander, and tucks in right behind the number 98 of Craig MacDonald. So looks like no harm, no foul for the lap car at this point in time. He's going to dip down low, try and use that low side way down by the apron, try and get around the number 98 of Craig MacDonald, give that lap to Craig MacDonald, but Jon Fitzpatrick, he's got 45, whoa, a little bit of contact there, they gather it back up, new leader, give it to the number 78, Jon Fitzpatrick.
Well, they say rubbin's racing. That was not a rub, that was a slap there by the 78 to the 98. Great car control, and a new leader, the third leader of the Jim Hallahan 333. It's Prince Edward Island's Jon Fitzpatrick, and brother almighty, he is driving away like he's stolen, and effectively he has. He has stolen it at the back end of this race. But where will the cautions lie, if there are any, and how will his tires hold up? Should he go in conservative mode? Because he definitely turned up the fuel, turned up the burner a little bit to catch up to the top two.
Absolutely, you can see he's putting some distance between the 78 and the 75 there. Mike Alexander, who moved into the second position, and Jon Fitzpatrick just setting his sights out the front windshield and trying to make it through this lap traffic here without any kind of problem. We're going to whoa, what in the world was that? Switched over to the cockpit camera, and there was a car in the middle of the track, and we just avoided it, brought out the caution there, and it looks like it may have been Ashton Tucker. I can see he's been removed from the race, or he left the race here, but we'll take a look. We're going to back that up, see if we can find out what brought out the caution here, Dylan.
Yeah, kind of spooky, and that could have been really bad. It looks like, ooh, that may be Ewing, and we're going to get a chance to chat with him here shortly, but oh no.
Yeah, we're going to take a look. The Raise Energy Drink instant replay. You can see, kind of clips the apron just a little bit and gets a shot from Pottle in the back, and just kind of a spin up. Oh, that was so close. My goodness.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, man. So definitely a tough break for Chris Ewing, but looks like pit road's going to be a busy place here, and we're going to see if we can't dial up the old one machine momentarily.
Yeah, well, we'll get him in here, and that could have been disaster for the 78 car, Jon Fitzpatrick. But this presents an opportunity for drivers like Mike Alexander and Craig MacDonald and Fitzpatrick. Fitzpatrick did go down pit road, so this will present an opportunity to make an equal playing field for all the drivers. Let's get old Chris Ewing here in the booth here. We'll chat under this caution to chat about the great Jim Hallahan. Chris, brother, do you got a copy?
Hey, Dylan, got you, bud.
So that was a wild little part there. That what happened between you and the 5 car?
A little give and take and a little patience. We wouldn't be in this mess.
It's been a heck of a time for you in this race. Unfortunately, you've been caught up a couple of times. What's the strategy now? Are you just trying to really stay out of the way of the leaders and just trying to hope that everybody else wrecks and you avoid it?
I'm just putting in laps, bud. Putting in laps for my buddy Jim.
Yeah, so let's talk about Jim Hallahan. I mean, we were talking a little earlier. You've known him for your entire life, basically. You hung out at the track. You're driving a car which Jim used that paint scheme at Atlantic Speedway, I believe?
Yeah, when I was a kid, back in the late 70s, Atlantic Speedway was the track, and Jim drove this car there and River Glade and Antigonish and all over the Maritimes, basically.
So what does Jim Hallahan mean to you? He means a lot to everybody, but for anybody in the garage or the pits, he certainly had a helping hand.
Absolutely. Jim always had an infectious smile. He never had a negative word to say to you, like it was always positive. So I couldn't think of any other way to honor Jim than to run this car. And then when I got the provisional, I came up with a strategy, but that didn't work. We can talk about that later.
Yeah. So just quickly, Chris, I was mentioning you're a crew member on the Parts with Trucks Pro Stock Tour. Is that the same plan for 2021?
I don't think Russell Smith Jr. is selling everything. I don't know what I'm
really?
doing.
Okay.
Yeah, he's going back to sportsman racing, I think. We don't know.
Oh, well, you can just sit in the crowd and have a beer instead.
Oh, no, I spot for him in that, too.
Okay, so you still will be working, but we're about to get back Green Flag Racing. Chris, thanks for coming up here, and hopefully you keep the nose clean for the rest of the race.
10-4, Dylan. Want to thank my sponsors on board today, if I can. Mervlands
Sure,
Auto Parts, Adventure Sports, Crooks Racing, and Aussie at Quaker State.
Excellent. Well, there's your sponsors. Big thanks to them, and thanks for you coming up here. Chris Ewing in the number 1 car. Great to chat with him. So we mentioned crew member for Russell Smith Jr., but we're at the real track here, or pardon me, the virtual track. It feels so real because I'm getting so excited, Paul, in this last part of the Jim Hallahan 333. And we're back racing. Jon Fitzpatrick is still the leader. That may have been a prime opportunity to get that lead because now they're all in the same kind of tire. It's all fresh, and he's got the number 1 position. Oh, I may have spoke too soon. He clipped the wall hard there.
Yeah, just taking a look. Everybody's come down pit road. Everybody. The entire field is on the same tires at this point. So tire strategy out the window. Really going to be able to see who's going to save and who's going to be able to move on. Oh, little bit of a... Holy mackerel. That was intense. That was pretty scary. We're taking a look. It looks like the 35 machine was around. And we saw the 78. We saw the leaders get around it, but that's going to bump the 78 back to second or third position. We'll pull that up one more time and get a replay on. It just looks like there was a car in the racing groove trying to get going. That was a 35 machine. Seen the 35 around a couple of times here throughout the afternoon. Chris McKenna, and we're going to back up and see what happened to the 35. Looks like might have been a little bit of contact on the old instant replay here, brought to you by Ray's Energy Drink. And you can see the 35 up high, kind of gets real close to the wall, comes down and clips the 1 car into the 14. Yeah, that's a tough break there. You can see spins around the 35. Kind of backs up and stops in the racing groove, tries to get it going. There you see the leaders get by. Mike Rhyno gets tagged. Oh, Richard Drake, Kyle Young can't get a piece of it, and that's going to push out some black smoke in the 35. He's done for the afternoon. Tough break for the 35 machine. Got a Patriots logo on there. Not going to make the playoffs, the Patriots, unfortunately. But tough break there. Craig MacDonald's going to move into the lead. Jon Fitzpatrick second, Mike Rhyno third after that scary situation there.
I think Jon Fitzpatrick needs a new racing suit after this race. He has avoided 2 things back to back.
For sure, and we said it a couple of times, but business is really starting to pick up. Craig MacDonald up front, the leader. Jon Fitzpatrick second. Looks like they're side by side right now, trying to figure out. Nope, they're going to give the second spot to the 78 machine. Mike Rhyno in the 34. He's running third. Caden Tufts fourth. Daddy back Keith MacLellan in the 5th position. Matthew Barkhouse been up in the top 10 all day. He's running 6th. Jake Goodwin, great race so far. He's running 7th. Richard Drake scored his 8th. Dave Cassidy 9th. Joey Stiers going to be the top 10.
So things have been shaken up like a martini on lap 262. Should be around lap 264, 265 when we refire the Jim Hallahan 333. And we'll see who's going to come out on top. That was just, I wasn't sure what exactly happened because the 35 car kind of blended in with the wall in the camera shot we were on. I wasn't sure if maybe the 78 blew a tire or something. He just woed up all of a sudden. Craig MacDonald had the quick footwork to be able to move down to the bottom and get out of the way. And now he has grabbed the lead, but he's going to be on the inside. But we know he's really good on the restarts on the bottom.
Yeah, been the master of the restart all afternoon long. Usually by the time he hits turn number 1, he's got a 5-6 car length lead. And one thing he's going to have to really work with, Jon Fitzpatrick to 78, he's no slouch on restarts either, so he's really going to have to pay attention at this point, crossing the stripe, lap 264 in the books, working towards that 333 goal. The lights are off in the iRacing pace truck, lining them up, double file, 2x2, all the way through. Going to come back down for another restart. Craig MacLellan down low, Jon Fitzpatrick up high.
Going to be an interesting one. We'll see if we can get some solid green flag laps. Again, the incident cap, 54 for these drivers. I got to imagine some are probably coming close to that number because we've seen a number of drivers get roughed up here, banged up sheet metal, blown engines, a little bit of everything here at the Jim Hallahan 333 at the last Great Coliseum. Green flag back out. It's Craig MacDonald in front of Jon Fitzpatrick after they avoided, well, what's could have been real disaster, but will Fitzpatrick have a fast enough car, and maybe will he have to contend with Keith MacLellan because here comes Mac Daddy.
Mac Daddy down low on those fresh tires. Looks like 3-4 laps on these tires for the drivers up front. He's going to try and put advantage to himself door to door there, the 78 and the number 30 machine. Give it to Fitzpatrick currently. That's going to tuck the 30 back in line. Try and follow him around for another couple of laps. See if he can maybe take another shot on the inside line with on lap 267, 268.
Coming down to the bottom part of the Jim Hallahan 333, there's Jake Goodwin in the 4th spot in that Napa Auto Parts car. 4, so a solid run for him. And the 88 of Caden Tufts, that is your top 5. A driver like Mike Alexander, not sure exactly where he is through this field. You can see there's Matthew Barkhouse. So right now, Mike is a bit further back, which again, he was dominating the first part of this race with some fresh tires. But hey, it ain't over till it's over. And there is the 75 as we're under caution again.
Yeah, 75, Mike Alexander, easy enough for me to say, currently scored 17th, 3 laps down, so tough break there. We'll see if we can pull up the old instant replay, find out what brought out this caution once again. I'm not seeing anything on the tapes as we rewind through them here. Just running through, seeing what all we've got. Not actually really seeing anything at this point.
Keep your eye on it. It's coming.
Yeah, it's coming. We'll keep an eye on it. It gives us a good opportunity to head over to Vidane.net/shop and use the promo code TANGLY because that's what this wreck is going to be. It's going to be a little bit on the Tangly side. Get yourself 10% off. But you can take a look. Mike Rhyno down low in the 34. The 024 of Derek Gates up on the high side. They make a little bit of contact here, and there we see it. The 024 hits the wall, slides around on top of Mike Alexander. Weird little kind of spiral flip. And looks like there's, nope, I was going to say it looked like there was a little bit of black smoke coming out of the 024, but looks like that was just the tire smoke settling down, but he's going to drive that car right down pit lane. See, he's kind of dog walking that car just a little bit, and more than likely, it looks like he is going to stay on the lead. Oh, well, he's already a couple laps down, so he's not going to lose another lap there. Taking a look at the timing and scoring, looking like there's 13 cars on the lead lap, and we still have about 28 drivers that started this race that are still in it, so good news there. Craig MacDonald still leading them out front.
Just about 60-ish laps remaining here in the Jim Hallahan 333. Check that coming up to about, math. Can't do math. That's why I'm at a grade school. Either way, anyways, we're coming down to the back end of the Jim Hallahan 333. Want to thank you all for tuning in on Vidane TV, Tim's Corner Motorsports, YouTube, Facebook. Been a lot of fun. I love it when we get these exciting battles. I know I'm sitting in my spare bedroom in my apartment in Halifax, Nova Scotia, but sometimes it's just like being at the real deal. Hearing the sounds and the headphones, seeing these drivers tussle for position. It's been fun so far, and Craig MacDonald has been putting on a show with drivers like Mike Alexander and Jon Fitzpatrick.
Speaking of the real deal, we're going to talk to the real deal, Tim Terry. Hey, Tim. Just because I like stressing you out and talking to you in the middle of these races while you're trying to do the race official stuff. Great show so far here for the Jim Hallahan 333. Lots of action. How's it going down there in the race official booth?
Actually going really well. We don't usually have any of the problems that we have with drivers getting upset and all that. For the most part, everybody's kind of loose. It's a long race. We had a 55 lap run there, just a bit over lap 200, so hopefully we can do that again. But a great race so far. Excited to see what the last 40 something laps holds here.
Absolutely, and the lights are off on the pace truck. We'll let you get back to work. We're going to do the very same up here in the commentary booth. Tim Terry, the owner and operator of Tim's Corner Motorsports, putting this deal on the Jim Hallahan 333, and everybody lined up 2x2 behind that pace truck. Lights are off on the pace truck. We're going to get ready to go green one more again.
Pretty impressive to see how many cars are still remaining. Again, with the instant cap points at 54, I figured there'd be a lot less, but doesn't matter. We're here now, and green flag is back out for Craig MacDonald, Jon Fitzpatrick second, Keith MacLellan in third, and another dynamite restart for the 98 car.
Once again, putting a lot of space between him and the second place machine. Currently, Jon Fitzpatrick. There you see the 30 machine of Keith MacLellan trying to move into that second spot. Looks like single file for the top 5. First side-by-side battle. You got Caden Tufts just got around the number 23 of Stiers. And Stiers up high, Wooldridge looking down low. There you can see Kyle Young. Haven't talked about him too much since we interviewed him about 100 laps ago. That number 93 machine there, the iRacing late model. Down low on the number 15 of Matthew Barkhouse. Those drivers are racing for the 9th position.
And a friendly reminder as well, you're not just driving for the bragging rights this afternoon. There is a little bit of money on the line. First place getting $50 and an iRacing wrap and hero card from Pottle's Wrap. So shout out to Chantelle Pottle again and Bob Hutchings for ponying up the dough this afternoon. Second place gets $30 and third gets $20. I like that. Now, we got a couple cars down real low on the track, including Tanton Wooldridge and Joey Stiers. Not sure if they made some contact. Man, that number 23, it's hurting. That car is just not as good looking as it was earlier on. But, hey, they're still going full on straight, no problem with the wheels at lap 280. Let them race. We're coming up to nearly 50 laps to go in the Jim Hallahan 333.
Joey Stiers backed up to the 10th, 11th position. Check that. 77, Bob Hutchings. Good to see him up in the top 10. The 77 machine currently running in 10th, and right in front of him, Tyler Hallahan. We talked to him at the beginning of the race, and the number 33, the grandson of Jim Hallahan, running in the 9th position. So good to see him having a good run here late in the afternoon. Kyle Young, the number 93, moves himself into the 8th position. He's trying to learn a thing or two from the master at these short tracks. Matthew Barkhouse running in the 7th position. And up front, we still have a little bit of a battle there for the 5th spot. Dave Cassidy in the 13, trying to get after Jake Goodwin and the 124, the Napa ride. And those guys are right in behind the leaders, trying to follow along in the top 3's tire tracks there. Craig MacDonald, Jon Fitzpatrick, Keith MacLellan, still the top 3 drivers, and they're kind of closing in on each other. They're really starting to scrunch up that the space in between first through third. So I think this last couple of laps here are really going to be entertaining.
They will, and you got to think too, if there is a caution, who makes a pit stop? Who decides to stay out? Who thinks, okay, you know what? We've had a couple of cautions here and there. Can the tires make it the distance, or do you take the gamble if you're 5th on back and say, you know what, I might as well get some fresh tires because I saw how fast they can be on the first get-go. A lot of questions, a lot of hypotheticals, but we won't know until we get there. And right now we are getting there on lap 287 with Craig MacDonald still charging his way through slower cars and has a full rear mirror of Jon Fitzpatrick. We're on board now, you can see, and it looks like kind of a Sunday cruise there for Craigie. He's got nice control of that car. You can see the RPM, the rev limiter spanking around, looks like maybe 6,000. And now he's going to have a couple of slower cars in front. Will that hinder the number 98 car? You can see the onboard. So it looks like they reach about just a little over 7,300. They're topping out going into the turn. So, and we can see the miles per hour. So let's see how fast they get into the turn. Just about 140 going in there.
Pretty cool to see these drivers. You saw the MacDonald machine kind of scrape the wall just a little bit a few laps ago, but it doesn't really seem like it slowed him down too much. He's working this lap traffic and gives himself a little bit of a full windshield of emptiness, and you can see the Fitzpatrick machine and the MacLellan machine right behind him working that same lap traffic. Seems like they've been able to follow right in line. So it looks like the 78 may have to deal with that 30 machine before he's able to get up in front of that 98.
Always a tough thing I have to wonder. You know, I'm a stupid announcer. I've driven an enduro race before, not something like this. I play racing games on my Xbox, and I sometimes wonder, okay, I'm in second. I got to try and get to first, but I've had third place all over me. how much do I have to drive defensively and how much do I have to drive offensively? You got to try and find the blend there. I usually hear people say, turn that mirror upside down completely. Don't look at it. Just keep going straight. But when you've got a fast driver all over you, you kind of have to plan your thoughts and plan out where you're going to go and how exactly you plan to get the first spot.
And oh, by the way, how much fuel have I got in the car? And when was the last time I came down for tires? And what is that noise in the back of the race car the last time I got hit from 35 some laps ago? Lots of things to think about. We usually see these 100, 150 lapper races here at short tracks. 333 laps is a long distance here at Bristol Motor Speedway, and you can see these drivers really have no downtime. A little bit under caution. After they make their pit stop, they get a lap or two to kind of gather their thoughts back up and kind of think about what they're going to do on the next restart and everything else. And it's really tough. The only saving grace for a lot of these drivers is the fact that they race with each other so often on Tim's Corner Motorsports and here on Vidane TV that they're really able to kind of lean on each other a little bit. They know what everybody's reaction is going to be. They know, a 78 of Fitzpatrick or the 98 of MacDonald. They know they're going to be quick on the restart. There you can see 141 of Richard Drake getting ready to go a lap down there. That's going to put 12 cars on a lead lap. So crazy race here so far. Lots of action, lots of drivers going all over the track. And there you can see the 30 machine dipping down low. He feels like he's a little bit quicker on the bottom side, but you can see it looks like he lost a little bit of ground there on the number 78. Kind of put him in the clutches of the 124 of Jake Goodwin.
Jon Fitzpatrick is the fastest car on the track currently as he's tucking his nose underneath. We're coming up to the last 33 of the 333 here at Bristol Motor Speedway. If you were saving anything, you better turn it on now because we don't know how long this green flag stretch could run. It could go right to the end, or we could have a couple of cautions here and there. You can see Terry Duguay on the bottom of the track. He moves out of the way of your leader, Craig MacDonald. MacDonald has a lot of pressure from Jon Fitzpatrick. You can see Jon kind of trying to take the middle side. Craig is really good at the top. Don't want to get too much into the marbles, but Craig certainly knows what he's doing. He has led almost 3/4 of this race so far.
And the laps are starting to wind down, getting into that easy math. Looks like 31 laps to go here in the 333 lapper at Bristol Motor Speedway in honor of Jim Hallahan. And everybody up front pretty much single file so far. Not really too much of an issue or a challenge for the lead or any of these positions. Trying to see if these drivers, maybe they're waiting for a caution to see if they can come down and get some tires. The tires are definitely going to be a big thing, and I think it's going to be split, Dylan. I think you're going to see half the drivers come down, take tires, and really gain some speed in the cars, but I think you're going to see the other half still stay out and try and gain the track position just a little bit, especially with there only being 13 drivers on the lead lap.
And that's the really cool thing. I was listening to a podcast with great commentator Alan Bestwick. He was talking about commercials during the race, and he says, well, pit road is now sometimes the most exciting part about the race and the strategy behind that. Who goes and who stays. With coming up to less than 20 laps to go, where do you do it? Do you stay out if there's a caution? I don't know if I would go in pit road if I was Craig MacDonald with 20 to go. But then again, how good will the new tires really be on a short run?
We've seen the tires last. Looks like the battle for the front, for the lead, heating up just a little bit. 98, kind of high, wide, and handsome, way up by that wall. And Jon Fitzpatrick, a little bit lower. You can see he's about a half a car width lower there, trying to gain a little bit of momentum. But just the 98 is so good on that top side, all the way up by that wall. And I can tell you right now, Dylan, there's probably a whole bunch of black paint from that wall on the outside of that race car. As you can see, the 78 he's right in the back bumper. It doesn't look like he's gaining, but he's definitely not losing at this point. Just trying to see where the 98 is quicker, where he's slower, trying to see if he can capitalize on any mistakes that the 98 makes.
It's what you got to do, and it maybe looked like there that Craig maybe let off the gas a little bit in the turn. I don't know if I saw a little tire smoke, but again, he will have to pounce on any opportunity. Jon will. Any opportunity where Craig maybe makes a little bobble. Maybe he kisses the wall of it. Maybe there's a slow car that doesn't move out of the way of the leader. They have cleared a good majority of the slower cars, but again, it's Bristol. They'll be back around again, guaranteed. As you can see, the 78 trying to peer around here. Jake Goodwin is in third. It looks like Caden Tufts there In the 4th position, Keith MacLellan rounding out your top 5. And a driver, again, like Mike Alexander, they had a dominant car at the start. Nowhere to be found here in the top 5. And that's David Cassidy in 13, pardon me.
Dave Cassidy in 13, currently running 4th. He's gotten himself around Mac Daddy there in the 30. He's running 5th. Matthew Barkhouse saw him up front. He's running 6th. Caden Tufts, Kyle Young, Joey Stiers, and Tyler Hallahan, the current top 10. There you can see the side-by-side battle, 141 of Richard Drake a few laps down. And Bob Hutchings there in number 77, currently running 11th on the lead lap. A little bit of damage on that race car, but not too bad. Looks like he's going to have himself a good afternoon here, crossing the stripe. Lap 314 in the books, working lap 315, and still up front, it's going to be Craig MacDonald and Jon Fitzpatrick coming up the 109. They're going to stay down low. The 111 is going to, looks like he's going to try and stay down low. A little bit of a wiggle there from the lap car of the 109. He's going to go all the way down in the apron. There you see the 98 going all the way up by the wall, trying to give as much room as they can. Big wiggle again from the 109 and the 111 that time by. Looks like the 2 leaders are going to get around. Jake Goodwin's going to try and follow suit as well, bringing the 13 machine to Dave Cassidy. Keith MacLellan, all top 5 drivers trying to get around this lap traffic. Looks like no harm, no foul so far, though, Dylan.
Fatal 5-way, I'll call it here. In the last 20 laps of the Jim Hallahan 333, there's the 122 of Lewis. We already saw a factor in the change of a lead here. Now we've got some big-time traffic in front. Where will the drivers go? That's the big question. You can see Chris Ewing on the bottom, but you can also see the 76. Chris, a professional, though. That will open a door, though, for Fitzpatrick. He's trying to peer
in the wall.
Oh, yeah, this is getting real intense, folks. Don't turn off your Facebook. Now the 98 has to dive low. He slides a little bit. This could present an opportunity for Fitzpatrick. Fitzpatrick has to hammer the brakes a little bit to try and avoid the 76. And here comes Jake Goodwin. Brother, we're getting intense here. 5 cars going for first.
Hi, Zeus Marimba, the moves, the driving, the heads-up driving for the number 78, going low, going high, going low again, getting around that lap traffic. Crazy to see. And, man, still Craig MacDonald out front, but it really closes these 5 drivers up, bumper to bumper to bumper to bumper to bumper. You could run a chain from 1st to 5th. You wouldn't even affect how these drivers are racing.
It's like Talladega right now. It's drafting. It seems to be very important. They're all on the same set of tires. There's no advantage. One driver doesn't have 10 less laps on those sets. It's all equal right now. Fixed setups as well, as we are coming down to nearly 10 laps to go. The Jim Hallahan 333. Craig MacDonald, it would be a heartbreak. Oh, what's going on here? He may be out of gas.
He may be out of fuel. That's absolutely right. Craig MacDonald takes that hard left turn onto pit road. Jon Fitzpatrick almost gets into the back of him, but he avoids him. That's going to give him the lead. Jake Goodwin right up there. He's hungry. He is right on the back of what is now the leader, the number 78 of Jon Fitzpatrick. He's going to want to try and close up here. 10 laps to go for the Jim Hallahan 333. Jake Goodwin is there. He's right on the back bumper of the number 78. He's going to try and wait and see what's going on. And oh, Tim Terry. It sounds like Tim Terry's knocking on the booth door.
98, Craig MacDonald out of fuel.
Figured that. I figured it was fuel. There were these drivers, they're certainly stretching, and now I got to wonder, what is the fuel situation for Jon Fitzpatrick or Jake Goodwin now?
Absolutely. You can see Mike Rhyno up there getting ready to lose a lap to the leader, the number 78 of Jon Fitzpatrick. He is currently the last driver on the lead lap, running in the 12th position, and the fuel may very well be a factor here. Trying to take a look at the timing and scoring and find out when these drivers came down pit road last, and it doesn't look like it's really showing it here, so it's going to be a surprise to all of us. There you see the 34, Mike Rhyno gets into the wall just a little bit. Caution comes out on the speedway. Holy moly, what do you do?
This is going to be tough. I mean, this will certainly save some fuel for drivers if they were running low. But where do you sacrifice? I think if I'm in the top 5, I am not going down to pit road.
You gotta wonder, though, is there going to be a green-white checker? Do these guys have enough fuel in the tanks to make that happen? And we're just taking a look at the Rays Energy Drink instant replay, trying to pull it up. Looks like the 33 of Tyler Hallahan was involved, as well as the 141 of Richard Drake. And we're going to pull up the replay and take a peek, see exactly what went down. And there you can see the 33 gets a little bit of a shot there from the 29 of Daniel Veitch, sends him on around. He gathers it back up. But unfortunately, it looks like something was broke on that race car. hard right turn, then a left turn after he hit the wall. Unfortunately, included the 141 of Richard Drake as well. So tough break for those guys, but back up front, still Jon Fitzpatrick, Dave Cassidy. Dave Cassidy moves up to the second position here, it looks like. So may have had some business down on pit road.
Yeah, just a little bit. I was just reviewing the footage. I may have jinxed Craig MacDonald there. I was just saying it would be heartbreak if he didn't win this race because he was leading almost all of it. And that's when the 98 car ran out of gas. But hey, that's iRacing. That is just plain racing. You're pushing your car. And again, you can choose how much fuel you put in your car. He probably took less to try and make sure that weight difference didn't throw anything off. But now he's a couple laps down. No chance for the 98 to try and win the Jim Hallahan 333.
Definitely a tough break, and you can see Jon Fitzpatrick, number 78, currently the leader. The top three drivers pitted 77 laps ago, and you can see the fourth place driver, the 15 of Matthew Barkhouse, he pitted 59 laps ago. Kyle Young, where did he come from? Currently running in the fifth spot, pitted 68 laps ago, and you can see Bob Hutchings there in the 77 as well, 78 laps ago. So, and then you can see Jake Goodwin, the first car with a full tank of fuel, 2 laps ago. Caden Tufts as well, Joey Stiers, Campbell Delaney. Haven't talked about him all night. Linden 109, he's currently in the top 10. So, this is going to get exciting. Not entirely sure how many laps these drivers can make on a full tank of fuel, and it's going to be a green-white checkered finish here. So, this is going to get even more exciting here, Dylan.
It is, and this has been a fantastic race so far. Really, the back end has been the most exciting. If I'm Jon Fitzpatrick or anyone up front, I would want to keep my eye on Caden Tufts and Jake Goodwin because they probably got fresh tires. They've got full fuel in their cars. I would be very worried about those two drivers at least. So again, Fitzpatrick, Dave Cassidy, Keith MacLellan, they stayed out. I believe also Matthew Barkhouse stayed out too. Drivers who decided to take the gamble and go down pit road, Jake Goodwin and Caden Tufts. They have 5 pit stops on their scoring ticker. It actually looks like maybe Dave Cassidy went down pit road a little earlier, so that's where they're set. So Dave actually may be in the golden opportunity because he's got that extra pit stop under his belt.
And the lights are off on the iRacing pace truck, lining them up 2 by 2 by 2 all the way through. Green-white checkered action here, 3 laps on the board. And man, oh man, Dylan, this is going to be an exciting finish to what's been an exciting racing afternoon here. 78, Jon Fitzpatrick down low. Dave Cassidy, a newcomer, up in the front row. He's going to be up on the top side. We've seen the restarts from the 98. Been fantastic all afternoon long. No difference there from the 78. Gets a good jump. He's got 2 car lengths already. Clears the number 13 car. He's going to be in the second spot. Battle's going to be for third. Daddy Mac, the number 30 Bud Light Machine, down low. Losing the position there to the number 15 of Matthew Barkhouse.
You can see Jake Goodwin. Look how fast he is.
Oh, contacts! Big wreck.
Big wreck, and I was just going to say, he was coming through. I didn't think there would be enough time. There is another caution. We'll have to try this one more time here. We saw the 24 charging through the field, and now, unless there's an incident, and that did not bring out the caution, that means he's going to be starting 4th, I believe.
Yeah, and we're taking a peek now at the Raise Energy Drink instant replay, and you can see the contact there with the 15 car. 15 was up on the high side, the 30 was down low. A little bit of, looks like the 124 just kind of drifted up a bit and puts the both of them into the wall. Caden Tufts there in the 88 gets a piece of it as well. So, tough break for those guys up front. Looks like I would stay out at that point with that damage. You can see Kyle Young getting the car woed up at that point. He's currently in the 7th position. He has 72 laps since his last pit stop. So it's getting into that territory where these guys are going to be real sketchy on fuel.
Again, saving grace, I would say, being under caution, but that's true. Jon Fitzpatrick, Dave Cassidy, and Keith MacLellan, and then Jake Goodwin in 4th. That's not good for those drivers. He's got fresh tires, and he gained about 4 spots there within a lap and a half. So we will have to try this again here. Finishing off the Jim Hallahan 333. In fact, we're going to go about 336 here with the green-white checkered. Very exciting. And thanks to Chantelle Pottle and Bob Hutchings for ponying up some prize money this afternoon. Pottle's wraps. The winner of this race will get an iRacing wrap and a hero card, which is pretty neat. All in memory of the late Jim Hallahan, a friend to everyone at the racetrack here in Nova Scotia and the Maritimes. And it was so good to see him one last time at Riverside and at Scotia Speed World in September. It was great, and it just really, it puts in perspective of you never know when someone may have their final goodbye, and you really got to appreciate every second you get with the people that you certainly love and appreciate. So don't take that for granted. We're going to have ourselves a hoedown here, we'll call it here at Bristol Motor Speedway, once we double up the field and get going again.
A good old-fashioned shoot 'em up. 10 cars on the lead lap pretty much gives this field, this race to, well, any of those 10 drivers. We've seen crazy things happen with lap traffic. Some of the drivers going up, scraping the wall, losing control of the race car. Jon Fitzpatrick, one of the best here at iRacing. He's going to be the leader. Dave Cassidy, no slouch as well. He's going to be starting second. Daddy Mac, Keith MacLellan third. Matthew Barkhouse, one of the powerhouses here in the Tim's Corner Motorsports Racing Series. He's going to be fourth. Jake Goodwin, the 124. The Napa ride, he's going to be fifth. Caden Tufts in the 88, he's going to be sixth. Our very own, Vidane TV's very own, Kyle Young, he's currently running seventh. Bob Hutchings with a great showing in the top 10. He's running eighth. Joey Stiers ninth, and Mike Rhyno is going to round out the top 10.
Pace lights are off the iRacing rig. Jon Fitzpatrick took the lead from Craig MacDonald after Craig ran out of gas, just didn't have enough to make it to the end. And now it's a green-white checker to find a winner at the Jim Hallahan 333. If you got a cold one, crack her open if you're watching on Tim's Corner Motorsports and Vidane TV. This is going to be exciting with drivers like Jake Goodwin and Caden Tufts. Fresh tires, lots of fuel. They don't have to worry. Who will have to worry? Will it be the 78? Green flag is back out. Green-white checkered at the Bristol Motor Speedway. David Cassidy in second. Jon Fitzpatrick in first. Can Goodwin or Tufts get there in time? We're coming around turn 3 and 4. If they cross the start-finish line, that will be the last chance for any cautions to come out. Last lap of the Jim Hallahan 333. It's a hornet's net. Further back in, Caden Tufts splits the field 4 wide on the backstretch. They're wrecking going into turn 3. Jon Fitzpatrick from Prince Edward Island wins the Jim Hallahan 333.
That right there was some heads-up driving out of the number 15. He was wrecked in a big way. Capital W, wrecked. And he was able to hold on to it, and it looks like he's still going to hold on. Definitely going to be a top 10 position there. You can see he scored in at the 4th position. Great run there by Jon Fitzpatrick. He's going to win the Jim Hallahan 333. Dave Cassidy holds on for the 2nd place finish. Caden Tufts 3rd. Matthew Barkhouse, that great save there after the last lap contact. He's going to finish 4th. Vidane TV's very own Kyle Young with the top 5. He's going to finish in the 5th spot. Daddy Mac, Keith MacLellan is going to finish 6th. Jake Goodwin, Joey Stiers, Mike Rhyno, and Bob Hutchings. Good run for Bob there in the top 10. Dylan, what a finish. Holy cow.
I didn't think they were all going to make it there, but the guy who got away and gets the checkered flag and some prize money is Jon Fitzpatrick. I would say one of the best iRacers in the Maritimes for sure. How many TCM wins does he have under his belt? But he wins a giant one today, the Jim Hallahan 333. Got to catch my breath after that one. That was some tight racing, as we can see further through the field. Some drivers who did not have as much luck as some of the other competitors, including Mike Alexander, finishing 14th. He was a front runner. Tim Terry, holy mackerel, what an ending to the Jim Hallahan 333.
Yeah, I thought we were going to go green to the end, and then we had that incident with Danny and Tyler on the back straight away, and then the 2 incidents there coming to the white flag. But Craig running out of fuel, so I'll explain it. We did have, and I forgot to mention it in the driver's meeting, but we did have a 100-lap competition caution rule tonight. We didn't obviously have to use it because we didn't go 100 consecutive green to the from start of a run to the end of a run. But they all had the ample opportunity to come down pit road. Sucks for Craig. He was fast all week, fastest driver in qualifying, and tough break for him. But it's a long race. It's all about survival and getting to the end. And Jon Fitzpatrick once again survives. Going to pick up a $50 bonus. A little prize from Pottle's Wraps, and he is in the showcase again this year.
Yeah, excellent stuff. I mean, I was saying, you talk about great iRacers. It's this guy here, Jon Fitzpatrick, and he is now in the virtual victory lane. John, do you got a copy?
Absolutely. Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Good afternoon to you, sir, and congratulations. This is a big iRace. Long. It's for a great guy in memory of Jim Hallahan, and you have won it. How does that feel?
Oh, it feels great. Like I was not expecting this coming into the race. Like I was practicing all week with everybody, and I was top 5, top 6 car, and kind of expected to end up there in the finish. But as the race went on, got a little more speed, got a little more confident, figured out the middle lane to save my tires, and then was able to make it happen. And I guess to your point there, I'd like to thank Tyler and his family for putting this on in memory of Jim. Definitely appreciate that, and a great way to spend our afternoon honoring him.
There were 2 times, John, you almost got taken out by other drivers. How the heck did you avoid those wrecks?
I have no idea. I just saw the first one. I just saw this white streak come across my screen, so I just, at an instinct, cut to the bottom. Then the second time, that's 50-50. The car in the middle of the track, do you go high, do you go low? Is he going to reverse? And got lucky there both times.
Let's talk about when Craig MacDonald ran out of gas. And I should ask you, too, were you close to running out by the end?
No, I had really good management on my tires and my fuel. I actually had an extra set left. Was really contemplating whether or not to use the set with the last restart there. But those green-white checkers, the lead car generally gets out pretty far. Was very surprised to see Craig run out of fuel there. We were racing very well together, and I'd let off a little bit for him. I think just trying to hopefully let him use his stuff up and then eventually get past him there.
So now this is booking your ticket to the TCM All-Star Showcase when you race against the best of the best. This is a big win for you, and then you've been having some solid TCM Weekly Series runs. But how does it feel to win a memorial race here on iRacing?
Oh, it feels great. And in respect to my iRacing career, it's definitely the number 1 win so far. Like I won the Petty race there last year, but nothing compares to this.
We're talking about Jim Hallahan. I know you're in with Jim. Did you know him? Did you see him around the racetrack at all?
No, not at all. I just see posts from time to time where people have throwbacks to his car. Definitely had a good-looking car for sure, but was never really in racing or around when he raced.
Well, either way, he had the best seat in the house upstairs, got to see a big win. John, you want to give any shout-outs or say hey to anybody, sponsors, any of that this afternoon?
I'd just like to thank all my family for watching. My wife for letting me do this. Definitely a big commitment on a Saturday afternoon. Thanks to you guys for putting this on, and thanks to Tim for the great series. And last, I'll say it again, thanks to Tyler and his family for putting on this event overall.
Well, congratulations again, John. You are the winner of the Jim 333.
Thank you very much, guys. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday. Let's watch some football here now.
Yeah, go Browns or something. My Giants got knocked out a long time ago, so they're not in it to win it. But lots of football this weekend, going into a new week, and we've got our second place finisher now here in the booth, Dave Cassidy. Dave, you got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
What a race! By the end, you were there with John, but after a driver ran out of gas, things got pretty mixed up by the end. How was the Jim Hallahan 333 for you?
I enjoyed that. That was fun. It's good that they put that on. I had, problems in the heat race. Got into a couple messes in that. Pretty much hit everything that I could possibly hit in the last chance, and then had to take the provisional. 27 starting spots, so I'll take this finish anytime.
How did you keep your nose clean through this race?
Oh, there was a couple close calls. I don't know, just luck, I guess.
By the end, how close were you to maybe running out of gas? We saw Craig MacDonald. He ran out with about 5-ish laps to go. Were you good to the end?
I checked there on that last caution. I was still good for 86 laps. Every time I went into pit, I'd add 3, 4, 5 gallons, so I had no worries about fuel.
So how does it feel to finish second in this long race? Would this be one of the longer ones you've competed in?
In a while, yeah. I did the odd NIS race with the Cup cars there, so I run a couple of 500-lap races at Bristol a couple times. Ran the Coke 600 once, so it's been a while, but...
Well, long one's all done here on a Sunday afternoon. Any family, sponsors, anyone you want to give a shout-out to getting a second-place finish?
Just all the boys, the summer sponsors, I guess, on the car that I work with there, like White Lightning and Big Cam and all them guys.
Sweet stuff. Well, Dave Cassidy, congratulations. Second place here at the Jim Hallahan 333.
Thanks.
So solid second place, and now we'll chat with our other driver on the podium, young Caden Tufts. Caden, you got a copy?
Yeah, I got a copy.
Holy mackerel, buddy. You were pretty fast during this race. I think you set the fastest lap time at one point, and you come out finishing third. How was the race for you this afternoon?
Oh, it was fun, but there was a lot of messy moves. So I regret a few of them, like coming from 19th to third is a very big move for me. Wasn't expecting me to do that, but we got her done.
So you took the gamble with Jake Goodwin to pit on that last opportunity. Did you figure, okay, I'm going to chomp through the field, or was it just, I don't know what's going to happen, I might as well use some tires?
Well, I was on some pretty old tires, so I was like, maybe we might be a little faster if we pick a set of tires up and put them on the car and go. So I guess it worked out for us.
It did. Third place finish. Now, a couple minutes ago, we were just chatting about some memories of Jim Hallahan. You're a younger racer, Bando Racing, but I'm sure you've seen Jim around the pit area at Scotia Speed World.
Yeah, I've seen him a few times around the pits area. He's usually walking around, checking out all the cars and all that.
How does it feel to finish in the top three during this memorial race of a guy who, effectively, if he wasn't here, there wouldn't be racing?
It feels really good, man. One of my first TCM top three finishes. I'm very glad to have it.
So we're talking 2021. Are you back in the Bando, or are you going to dive into Legends cars? What's the plan this year?
We're going to be still sticking with the Bando in 2021 here.
Mostly sticking with Scotia? Or are you going to venture out of the province if we're able to?
Hopefully we get out of the province a little. We did this year, and I really enjoyed it.
Awesome stuff. Well, any family or sponsors you want to give a tip of the hat to?
Yeah, I would like to thank Randy Jackson HVAC, Jonathan O'Brien Racing, Dark Moon Motorsports, and then all my real-life sponsors.
Awesome. Well, congratulations, Caden. Third place here at the Jim Hallahan 333.
Thank you.
There's our top three. Man, what a race, and what a win by Jon Fitzpatrick and Tim. And it just what a race overall. I know this one.
That was a pretty exciting race, but before we cut this thing loose, I want to catch up with Tyler. Tyler, that wasn't the finish that you wanted in your race car, but you have to be happy to finish all 333 plus laps. I guess it's 340 tonight. You have to be happy with your performance.
Oh, for sure. It was a good race all in all. Just, I think I got 16th after I ended up in the catch fence. But, it's just hard racing. That's Bristol. Just couldn't catch a break there. Every time I got the top 10, something would happen.
It's a big day. It was a big show. What's your thoughts after leaving Bristol today?
I just want to thank everybody for coming out. It's been, an emotional race for sure. It was for someone very special to me. He was my biggest hero with my racing. So I just want to thank everybody who put all the practice laps in, the qualifying times, who ran a heat race yesterday, who went to the B main, and to everyone that made it in the big show today. Good race. You win some, you lose some. And as my papa would say, you move on to the next race and you forget about the past. And I think right now I need a nap.
Well, I know we joke around that if you're not racing, you're eating. So is there any food afterwards? Any post-race meal here?
Oh, yeah, I still got some popcorn left, and I might have to take a trip up to Stewiacke and get some Subway.
That sounds good. Anybody else you want to say hello to? Anybody that you want to thank? I know your teammate couldn't make it today, so you better say hi to Greg too, right?
Yeah, so say hi to Greg Snelgrove. I'll thank him, actually, because, I raced out of his basement. He actually helped me get on the sim and everything, so thanks to Greg, and thanks to everyone in my family, and thank you to everyone who watched today. I hope you enjoyed the show.
Thank you for letting us put on the show. That's Tyler Hallahan. Finishing in 16th place today, but was on the lead lap and looking for a top 10 finish up until the end of that race. And Dylan, we talked about everybody that we wanted to thank. Obviously, Pottle's Wraps, Bob Hutchings, Chantelle Pottle put up some money today for the top three. We just did the 3 random draws for $15 each. Those are going to go to Travis Roma, Chris Ewing, and Tanton Wooldridge. So we'll get the payments out a little bit later on today for that. But want to thank Brandon Campbell, Brittany Hoyt, Paige Drake for helping us out, and Nick Pache as well for race control. They had the eyes and the ears on it, and making sure everybody played by the rules, had black flags cleared if they needed to, all that fun stuff. So I want to thank everybody for being a part of this deal. This was fun. Tentative, our next event is on Tuesday. It's the Mike on the Rock 75 at Rockingham. ARCA cars coming back at Rockingham. That is going to be fun. But Dylan, final thoughts. Big show, all done, and now I think Tyler has the right idea. I think I'm going to go take a nap after this. What about you?
Yeah, I got to go celebrate anniversary stuff. Thankfully, my girlfriend allowed me to kind of split out for a couple hours, but it was a great time. And I said it was for Jim Hallahan. I explained, the legacy that he has, so she totally understands. And I hope you all enjoyed this race. This was a great race by the end, and we saw different strategies play out. Some guys ran out, some guys didn't, and overall a fun race on a Sunday afternoon.
We had 3 drivers on the podium from 3 different maritime provinces, and then we had Kyle Young finishing 5th from New York. So great to see the attendance that we had, as Tyler said, and great to see the big entry list that we had, over 60 drivers trying to qualify for this event this afternoon. Paul Strickland, that's it for us. We got a couple of days off. We got some NEP stuff coming up at the end of the week. Sim 500 is back on Saturday. I still can't get over it. Richard Beasley won a race last night. That was great to see. But we got Mike on the Rock 75, and what else we got coming up?
Yeah, Richard Beasley comes home with a win. He's locked himself into the championship playoffs coming up here in a couple of weeks for the Sim 500 Vidane Racing Super Speedway Series. Going to get an opportunity to race for that gorgeous Pro-Am belt, championship belt, the custom belt, the 3rd one we've done, and an opportunity to run a street stock for Rent a Race Car at Stafford Motor Speedway on June 11th. That's going to be the Vidane Racing Championship night, the night before the SRX Series has their inaugural race at Stafford Motor Speedway. So really looking forward to that weekend. Anybody out there listening, anybody in the booth really at this point, if you want to come down and party with Vidane TV and rent a race car, I promise you it'll be a fun weekend. But lots of stuff coming up here. The month of January has over 30 races, 30 shows live here on Vidane TV. You made mention Mike on the Rock returns for 75 laps at Rockingham on Tuesday, January 12th. It's going to be 7 p.m. Eastern. The very next night, Wednesday, the Tim's Corner Motorsports Weekly Racing Series returns to Oxford Plains. That's going to be the 13th at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. And right after that, the Showtime Cup Series comes back for another race as well. And then a doubleheader for the NEPS guys, the Grand National Series Thursday night, and the Super Truck Series is going to be the first race you're going to see for them here on Vidane TV. They ran their very first race in that series on New Year's Day. We weren't able to cover it. We had some stuff going on, but very excited to pick those guys up for race number 2 in the NEP Super Truck Series. That is going to be very, very exciting. A little bit of a team-oriented deal. There's 6 teams of 4 drivers each, and you saw the draft go down here live on Vidane TV just a few weeks ago. So lots of exciting stuff happening here on Vidane TV. We've got the 1-year anniversary show sometime in the month of March. We're going to be kicking that off. Going to do some sort of invitational deal. Pretty much everybody that's ever been involved in anything of Vidane TV's done, any leagues that we've called or one-off events or anything like that. Want to do a big show and really give a salute to all the fans that are out there. And again, I want to thank all the fans that are out watching on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, all the social media outlets. Be sure to give us a like, a subscribe, a follow, all that good stuff, and maybe even a share or two. And a shout out to everybody. I noticed on the Facebook page, lots of new follows here today, so we're on our way to 1,700 follows on the Vidane TV Facebook page, and that really means a lot to me personally, and we definitely do appreciate it. But like these guys said, I think I'm going to have myself a couple of Corona Lights here and maybe a Raise energy drink to get myself through the rest of the day and get some choring going on for the rest of the afternoon here. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. And, man, it was a good one here for the Jim Hallahan at 3:33 here at Bristol Motor Speedway. For Tim Terry, Tim's Corner Motorsports, Dylan Langile, myself, Showtime, Paul Strickland Jr., the Hallahan family, and everybody involved here at this afternoon's show. Big time shout outs to you guys. Thank you so much, and be sure to watch the replay over on YouTube, the beautiful 1080p stream, and watch it on the big screen. Any kind of smart TV that's got the YouTube app, just do a quick search for Vidane TV. Pops right up in front of your face. So thank you guys for tuning in. We're off tomorrow night, but we come back here Tuesday night for the Mike on the Rock 75. And when we do that, we'll catch you then. Have a good afternoon.